We're the one-stop print-that-pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to accuse you of minutes.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hi, everybody. Brock and Salk Show, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com, Seattle Sports app, podcast platforms. You know it. You find us in all those various spots, whatever is best for you. We're just here to help. We're just here to facilitate. Just here to make your day a little bit better, hopefully. Not that it should need it. Man, what a weekend. What a day for the Seahawks again yesterday. Pretty amazing. There are, I want to make sure I get this right, four teams in the league that are 3-0. The Seahawks are obviously one of them. The Vikings. What? The Vikings. The Chiefs, of course. And the Steelers. That's your list of 3-0 teams to start this year. Now, Bills are 2-0. We'll see what happens. But everybody else has been tagged with at least one loss so far this season. And the Seahawks are one of the few teams in the league that start the year 3-0. Stacey was on last week, giving some of the history and the percentages of teams that start 3-0. I think she said 74% of those teams have made the playoffs. So obviously it puts you in a pretty good position. The Seahawks have only started 3-0 twice and not made the playoffs in their franchise history. So it's a really, really good start. I don't know what else you would possibly expect or want this team to do over the course of its first 3 games. They were remarkable. Are there still question marks? Of course. I'm going to guess there's still some question marks about the Vikings. I'm going to guess there's still a few question marks about the Steelers. Maybe the Chiefs have fewer because they've been there and done it before. But yeah, of course you're going to have still some question marks 3 weeks into the season. But based on what they've been capable of, does anybody have a problem with how the Seahawks have played? But the biggest question marks I have about the Seahawks are what happens when they go against some of the elite quarterbacks in the game. And I think those are fair questions based on the 3 or 4 quarterbacks that they've faced. But that's not their fault. It's not like they should have had Tua play yesterday. It's not like it's their fault that they haven't gone against Patrick Mahomes or any of the better quarterbacks that they will face over the course of this year. That's not on them. They played the 3 teams that were on the schedule, and their defense has completely dominated those games as a whole. I know people didn't think the defense played as well last week. I disagreed. I thought the defense played pretty darn well. I know the narrative kind of was they gave up all those yards on the ground, and so the defense didn't play well. Yeah, all right. They did give up a bunch of yards. But in the big play moments of that game, it was the defense who was getting themselves off the field and setting the stage for the offense to win the game. So in my book, defense had a pretty good day. Was it perfect? No. Did they get run on a little bit? Yes. But they still had a pretty good day. Yesterday? Oh, my gosh. I don't know how much better you would possibly want a defense to look. They gave up 3 points in the game, and those points came on a 2-yard drive. You looking for more? The only points they gave up on the day came from a 2-yard drive where Miami moved from the Seattle 4 to the Seattle 2. Now, all right, I'm cheating a little bit because maybe you could say, all right, fine, that balances off with the missed field goal after a decent drive. Okay, fine. But the Dolphins essentially had 2 drives on the day. One of them ended in a missed field goal. The other one came off of an interception at midfield and ended with a 4th down turnover. That's your ball game. In the NFL. Now, I know you're going against Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle. But still the NFL. They still have Tyreek Hill. They still have Jalen Waddle. They still have, Achane and all the other guys that played in this game, all the skill position guys. They did nothing. They did jack squat. Did you even notice Tyreek Hill in that game? I know he had a couple.
Because he's on my fantasy football team.
All right, so you were looking for him. But if you're just watching the game as a football fan, you would have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. I noticed that he didn't do anything.
He did jack squat. And Jalen Waddle didn't do a whole lot more. He had more catches for fewer yards. Neither guy was a factor in that game at all. The entire Dolphins receiving corps was taken out of that game entirely by this secondary, by this pass rush. They didn't do anything. The Seahawks defense is freaking incredible. You start looking at the numbers and you see, all right, they're like second in the league in yards given up. They're in the top 5 in points. And then you remember that a bunch of the points they've given up aren't even really on the defense. A bunch of them are after on the offense for putting them in position. And you're like, oh my gosh, this defense is something real. Now, do you have questions about the offense? Sure. I still have questions about the offensive line. I don't know what they're going to look like in Detroit. Am I curious to see what this defense looks like against Jared Goff, who maybe isn't an elite level quarterback, but is obviously a good quarterback and certainly better than the 4 guys you've faced so far this year? Okay, yeah, of course I want to see that. Do I want to see what this defensive line looks like going up against an offensive line with Penei Sewell and the rest of those guys in Detroit? Yeah, Monday night is going to be a test. In some ways, the first real test of the season for them, and we'll get a little bit more of a measuring stick to see where they are. I'm not jumping up and down and saying today, oh my gosh, this is a playoff team, and they're golden, and they're perfect. I'm not saying that. But based on what they've been offered, based on what they've had even as a possibility to do so far, I don't know what else you would possibly want them to have done. They played the teams that were on the schedule. They played the quarterbacks that were on the schedule. They played the offensive lines that were on the schedule. They played the defenses that were on the schedule. And they've come away with 3 wins, and only one of them was ever really in doubt.
Well, and I think yesterday you have to look at how the injuries are stacking up for them, too. Nwosu's been out. You lose Leonard Williams early. You lose Byron Murphy. Jerome Baker was out to start that game. And the fact that they're still playing so well, even if it is against a team without their starting quarterback, is pretty impressive.
100% true. And I am, glad that they're going to have an extra day here before Monday Night Football. And I think for Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy, I think Detroit becomes a much tougher test without those 2 guys and maybe without Chenna and without Baker, et cetera. I mean, that Detroit team is going to be a lot better and a lot more physical than Miami. But again, you play who's on your schedule. You do what you are offered, and they've done it all. God, the defense looks good, man. You know what else, Maura? This team is freaking physical.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. They are out there laying the wood, from start to finish in every game. Man, they were really, really, really physical. And that's fun, too. I mean, you start trying to come up with identity, and I know that the coach doesn't want to necessarily tell us what the identity is, and he kind of wants to let it develop a little bit. Fine. They are developing an identity as a hard-hitting, physical, nasty football team that wants to get you into a phone booth and punch you. And, oh, by the way, they're pretty fast, too. So if they need to get out in space, especially in the secondary, what they've done is just completely dominate out there. I can't get over what they did to Tyreek Hill this weekend. Dude did nothing. He did nothing. I'm sorry he's on your fantasy team, More. I know you didn't want him to begin with.
Yeah, that was my bad.
I mean, he didn't do anything. He did jack squat. So, yeah, I am pretty fired up today, not just about just the team, but about, having an identity, about having a defense that is doing what this defense is doing. Look, you want to be a great team in the NFL, be great at something. And right now, it sure feels like the Seahawks are on the way to being great as a defensive football club. You're going to find out a lot more against Detroit. As I said, on their way. Doesn't necessarily mean they've gotten there yet. but on their way to being a really impressive top-tier kind of defense, yeah. Yeah, I think that's absolutely something that they are capable of by the end of this season, which is pretty cool. 253, I'll believe after Detroit. Yeah, of course. Again, this is not about do you think that they're now a Super Bowl team, but do you see the market improvement? Do you see the vision? Do you see where this thing could be going? Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely do. I absolutely see some of those things now for the first time. It's pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. Yeah, everybody wants them to beat Detroit. Yes, okay, yeah, I get it. Beat Detroit, and it means more. They can't beat Detroit until they play them, guys. They haven't had a chance to play them. By the way, shouldn't bringing up the name Detroit be a little painful today, Lyle? If I have to say those words, Detroit, I guess just one word. Does it make you think, unfortunately, of what's going on in Major League Baseball, in the American League, in a Mariners team that, how do you blow a 5-0 lead on September 22nd? Like, that's just not, you're just not in a position to do that yesterday. And, they did score 5 runs, but you didn't tack on late when you needed to. And unfortunately, the bullpen just isn't at a level where it can be trusted to hold these types of things. They've just kind of not enough dudes in there. Yeah, I'd forgotten about JT Chargois. He was in there, so I was like, oh, yeah, forgot about him. He hadn't been in as many leverage spots recently, and unfortunately, he gives up that home run. Munoz gives it up in the 9th, and now the world gets a lot harder for the Mariners. Impossible, no, but you're heading to Houston, and you're realistically 3 games back with 6 to play in the wild card. So we'll talk through it. You guys want some scenarios? You want some details? We got them and everything you need to know next. It's Brock and Salt. Seattle Sports on 710.
This is Seattle Sports.
Thompson sets, stops, looks, gets hit, goes down. Derek Hall comes around the corner, and he is there to add to his sack total.
On the defense side of the ball, we're just trying to come out, be resilient, start fast, keep going, and finish the game. And I think we did that really, really well today.
Gino from the shotgun, hands it to Charbonnet, left side. He's in. Touchdown, Seahawks.
I thought we took a step forward today. It's a great win. I mean, it's awesome to be 3-0, but obviously we got a big one coming up too. So
we are the home of the Seahawks.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Elshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss. Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
This is Seattle Sports.
Thompson sets, stops, looks, gets hit, goes down, Derek Hall, and he is there to add to his sack total.
The home of the Seahawks.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industries' no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
You gotta love baseball season, but when it comes to your windows, you don't want any curveballs. Rick Riz here, reminding you to trust your clubhouse with locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Experience the difference with high-quality products, expert installation, and top-notch customer service. It's always a home run with Pella. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Just go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
3-0, that's got a pretty nice ring to it, even nicer when the rest of the division is all 1-2. Nothing gets finished, right, in the first 3 games of the season, but what a way to start. Not a pretty football game yesterday. 22 penalties accepted. Even more were called. It was 11 on each team. But other than that, the Seahawks dominated this game. Defense didn't allow a touchdown, only allowed 1 field goal, and it came on a drive in which the Dolphins got the ball on the 4-yard line and moved all of, 2 yards? 6 sacks, 12 quarterback hits, 1 quarterback knocked out, 7 tackles for loss on the day. Are you kidding me? That is what you call dominant defensive football. And as for the other side, the offense, they did more than enough. 91 yards for Zach Charbonnet, including a couple of scores, and DK Metcalf gets over 100 yards for the second straight week. This was the best of the bunch.
Gino out of the shotgun, McIntosh in the game, and now he swings out to the left side. Gino steps up in the pocket, looks, holds, throws deep, got DK open, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, runs away from Miami, touchdown, Seahawks, a 71-yarder to DK. Gino waited, great route, and then DK just popped into the secondary open. Gino laid it up there, and the secondary never had a chance to catch DK.
Yeah, when DK decides to run by you, good luck catching him. He's pretty well on his way and gone. And so a really nice win. Cut 4, Mike McDonald, happy with where the team is at.
I thought we took a step forward today. The run game, I think they popped a couple runs, but overall, I thought we tackled very, very well. Didn't feel like the catch and run stuff. I mean, it's such a dangerous team. The usual suspects, when they get their hands on the ball, you gotta take great angles. You need inside-out pursuit. You got to set the edge. I thought our front played incredibly hard, getting to the ball with a sense of urgency, which was really, really fun to watch and be part of.
It was, yeah. Again, some ugly moments in the game, but overall, I mean, the defense just phenomenal. Some injury concerns. Both Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy left the game, did not return, but overall, as we said, physical, nasty, heavy-duty win for the Seahawks. And oh, by the way, the rest of the week went pretty well. Rams come from behind to beat the Niners late in a crazy finish. Cardinals lose to Detroit. So, yeah, when the Seahawks take the field in Motor City on Monday night, they've got a 2-game lead as of now in the division over all 3 other teams.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, 2 series left for the Mariners, who find themselves 5 back in the division and 3 games behind in the wild card with 6 to play. This after a crazy weekend that nearly saw them sweep the Rangers. Blowout win on Friday, pretty much a blowout win on Saturday, all keyed by the red-hot Julio Rodriguez, who was ridiculous in both of those games. And you got a 5-0 lead yesterday. It looks like you're going to have more of the same. Not so much. Texas comes roaring back, walks it off with a Marcus Semien single. Mariners cannot get it done. Cut 7. Dan Wilson knows that was not what you needed.
It's a tough one to swallow. Obviously, we win the series. That's a positive. We got a big series ahead of us, and we've got to turn the page quickly on this and move on, which we've been able to do. So, we'll do it tonight and move on, be ready for Houston tomorrow.
Yeah, he's right. That has been a hallmark of this team. I mean, kind of going back even before Dan was here. They've done a really good job of turning the page, moving on, not letting these things stick. The problem they're running into is just the number of games that are left in the season, only 6. And by the way, while you're in Houston, Kansas City has Washington, Detroit has Tampa. So that's maybe the toughest road. And Minnesota gets 3 with Miami. So, yeah, you definitely have the toughest competition over the next 3 days. Bryce Miller, Hunter Brown will go tonight in the first game of that series. Astros, though, might be without Yordan Alvarez. He hurt his knee in yesterday's loss to the Angels. We'll find out later today whether or not he will be in the lineup.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Storm lose last night in the start of the playoffs. Huskies and Cougs both win this weekend. Cougs just outside the top 25. So they were the top team also receiving votes. And guess who they play this weekend? Boise State, who is number 25. So pretty simple. Get a win and you move into the top 25 this week. Pretty incredible considering, the way they were left for dead this past off season. Huskies win as well. They'll be at Rutgers on Friday night before the real Big Ten schedule starts the following week. That is everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Yeah, pretty nice debut. Like if you're going to have your debut in the Big Ten, getting to start with Northwestern followed by Rutgers, that's kind of what you're looking for, right? And then finally you take on Michigan after that. But yeah, I mean, having Northwestern here, they didn't score a touchdown. Seahawks have the Dolphins here on Sunday. They don't score a touchdown. Cougs get a crazy, back and forth, 2-point conversion kind of win late. So fun football weekend. Fun football weekend for the local teams. Moore's going to take us through everything else that happened this weekend. It wasn't just a couple of football games here in Seattle. It was a wild weekend in general, and she's got all the details coming up next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, SeattleSports.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Throw deep, got DK open, touchdown! Seahawks, a 71-yarder to DK.
DK was able to get behind him. I thought the protection was great. Allowed us that extra second we needed to get the ball downfield. That was a big play for us.
Down to the 1, he's in! Touchdown! Seahawks, Zach Charbonnet!
With the type of defense that we have on our team, it just gives us the utmost confidence to go out there and just play free.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
All right, guys, for years, I've been recommending Riverside Roofing as the roofing company you can trust. Trust that a contractor will show up on time. Trust that they're going to complete the work and leave you with a brand new roof that's going to last. Trust that Riverside Roofing will keep your yard and driveway clean of debris like nails and shingles. They do that with the catch-all system. Trust Riverside Roofing will give you a roof at the right price. Trust means everything. And when it comes to choosing a roofing company for your home or your business, it should be the deciding factor. And personally, I found Riverside Roofing to be exceptional in their work, professional, and yes, trustworthy. Riverside Roofing, family-owned, local company, servicing all of Western Washington. Why not give them the opportunity to earn your business this fall? They've worked with people at the station. They've worked with other listeners, people who have heard me talking about them for 6 years now. I can't believe it's been that long. Talk to Don, Brandon, Jordan, the whole crew at riversideroofingllc.com. They are Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Fall is near and it's time to break the huddle by taking advantage of Toyota of Kirkland's lifetime powertrain warranty. With a roster of over 70 Tundras and Tacomas, come scout the phenomenal team at Toyota of Kirkland. They'll pass you the keys so you can test drive your vehicle and take it to the house that same day. Big-time players make big-time plays at Toyota of Kirkland. Visit them today at their incredible showroom or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with no credit financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
It's football season, and that means colder weather is on the way. If it's time to update your windows and doors, talk to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Local owner Keith Dashafee has a great deal just for you.
That's right, Steve. Now you can get 20% off qualifying installations or 0% financing for 24 months with equal payments. Just schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors at PellaPNW.com.
Thanks, Keith. Check out the unbeatable selection of windows and doors today at PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Gino from the shotgun, hands it to Charbonnet, left side, he's in! Touchdown! Seahawks!
The home of the Seahawks.
Are you constantly dealing with a runny nose, congestion, or sinus drip? Always having to clear your throat or coughing? Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Ryan Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that significantly reduces your postnasal drip and stuffiness. A recent clinical study shows almost 9 out of 10 Ryan Air patients get significant improvement in their breathing and runny nose. We're proud this year the Stern Sinus Center was just named a nationwide center of excellence. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
What does the Seahawks jersey mean? It's football.
Drops back, has time, loads up, throws. It's intercepted. Does he keep his feet in? He does! Seahawks ball!
It's community.
The stands are rocking right now. Nobody has left this place. It is pandemonium.
It's Seattle. This is your jersey. This is the Pro Shop. The Seahawks Pro Shop has the largest selection of Seahawks jerseys. Come try one on at the Landing in Renton or at Lumen Field.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
Some of these Seahawks numbers are pretty crazy through 3 games. Defense has given up 248 yards per game total. 248 yards per game. That is second best in the league behind Pittsburgh. You want to go passing yards? That would be 132 passing yards per game. That's second to Cincinnati. And even the rushing yards, I mean, okay, fine. They've given up a few more because of the bad game to New England, but they're still in the top half. And in the points per game category, they are 4th, giving up 14.3 points per game. And of the 43 points they've given up total, how many of those have come almost direct? Well, 4 of them literally are on the offense. Like, literally the offense caused the points. And I think there's probably about another 14 that come directly because of the offense. So pretty amazing what they've done so far this year. Love it at 3-0. And Maura, it's not the only thing that happened this weekend. What else did we miss?
Well, quite a bit. We'll start with a little bit of college here. UW bounced back from their Apple Cup loss to win their first conference game against Northwestern 24-5. Will Rogers threw 2 first-half touchdowns to wide receiver Denzel Boston. The first was a 46-yarder in the first quarter.
Play action. Rogers going to take a shot. Down the seam. Boston! Got it! Touchdown, Huskies!
Rogers did get into some trouble backed up at UW zone 3 and took a safety on an intentional grounding call later in the first. And they did miss a 51-yard field goal with 2 seconds left. But UW did take a 17-2 lead into halftime. Their defense had a fumble, an interception, a goal line stand, and another trip to the red zone for Northwestern, where they held them to just a field goal in the second half. So Coach Jed Fish was very happy with the defensive effort.
Our defense just played extraordinary. I don't really know if there's many other good adjectives to describe a team that I think we held them to 112 yards of total offense. I think on neither side they were under 60 yards passing, under 60 yards rushing, 2 takeaways, 2 interceptions, a goal line stand, which was just awesome.
I know you love hearing Jed Fish.
I do enjoy Jed Fish, and that, look, Northwestern's not a very good team, and they found a way to beat them and destroy them, which is great. I mean, look, again, you play who's on your schedule. It's not their fault that that's who's in the Big Ten right now, and that's who their first game is against. I don't fault anybody for who they're playing. It doesn't necessarily tell you everything you need to know about them, and that's coming. I mean, even though Rutgers isn't great, you got to go across the country to go play them, fine. And then after that, you really sort of get your, Michigan moments, and you really start to join the Big Ten and start playing against some of the better teams in the conference. But look, they needed to bounce back after the way they lost that game the previous week. Good on them, good on the coach, good on the team. That's how you bounce back and get it done.
Nice. Well, Washington State didn't need to bounce back after the Apple Cup. They are now 4-0, after defeating San Jose State University in double overtime on Friday. Cougs running back Dylan Payne scored on a 7-yard touchdown run in the second overtime, and quarterback John Mateer punched in the mandatory 2-point conversion. The Spartans responded with a touchdown of their own, but Emmett Brown ended up getting strip sacked by Washington State edge rusher Quinn Roth. So that means that the Cougs win 54-52. And I rolled in this cut because our friend Michael Bumpus was on the call on the CW.
2-point try for San Jose State to extend the game. Emmett Brown under duress. There goes the ball, and the Cougs are on it to improve to 4-0. Khalil Laufau runs pulls away with the football. And for the second week in a row, Wazoo does it on defense.
Needed a play by that defensive box. They got after the quarterback. You knew where they wanted to go. Nash had himself a great night. You send the house, you're blitzing, you're putting the young men under duress. Great job by this Coug defense. Gave up a lot of yards tonight, but it felt like whenever they needed a big play, they were able to come up with it.
I don't know when Bump sleeps during the football season.
Seriously, right?
Because then he's on pre and post for the Seahawks on Sundays. Bump
Yeah,
and
I think
Stacy Monday through Friday.
I think he also just transports himself. I don't think he has to fly. I think he's just got one of those transporter machines where he just beams himself to the
Paul
next
Moyer on Thursdays.
to the next venue. Yeah, good point. And nice win for the Cougs. Fun, man. Jake Dickert does not get enough credit.
Yeah.
He really doesn't. What he's done with this program since showing up here. And remember, he's sort of joined in a weird spot. It's funny. I was trying to think. So I've lived here for 15 years. And I was thinking about Dickert, and I was like, wow, is he really only the third Coug coach during that time? Paul Wolf, Mike Leach, and then him. And I was like, no, wait. There was a whole era in between that sort of ended in a disaster and lawsuits and this, that, and the other. And for him to come in on the tail end of all of that and deal with what he's had to deal with in terms of the conference, to find a way to keep this team as relevant as it's been is a remarkable accomplishment by a guy who really knows how to coach.
And I know they lost some, but to be able to keep any players there, honestly, with everything that was happening last year.
It's a testament to him.
Yeah.
His recruiting ability, his coaching ability. I really like what he does both in games and especially just to coach the team and lead them. Pretty remarkable dude. I'm pretty darn impressed with Jake Dickert.
Agreed. All right, we will move into some NFL here. I know another one of your favorites that you just think is so great. Sam Darnold and the Vikings looked impressive again as they dominated the Texans 34-7 to move to 3-0. Darnold got things going with a 6-yard touchdown pass to who else? Justin Jefferson, of course.
Darnold out of the pocket. Darnold will throw. Touchdown! Justin Jefferson open. And the Vikings cash in.
They would score 2 more touchdowns for a 21-0 lead before the Texans finally got on the board about 7 minutes into the third quarter with a Cam Akers 8-yard rushing touchdown. The Vikings scored a field goal on their next drive, got the ball right back on a C.J. Stroud interception, and turned that into a touchdown, forcing the Texans to turn it over on downs twice to end the game. Darnold did leave briefly in the third quarter after a hit from Danielle Hunter. He hurt his knee, but he was able to return. I think he's getting an MRI today. He had 4 touchdowns on the day. Minnesota's defense had 5 sacks, with Jonathan Grenard coming up with 3, and they also had 2 interceptions of Stroud.
What is going on in the NFL?
I know.
Like, seriously, what's the deal in the NFL?
Well, a couple of these guys came back to earth this week. Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield. We'll talk about that.
Okay, but I'm just going to look at the top 5 right now in terms of quarterback rating. Number 1 is now Josh Allen. We'll see what happens after tonight. Then Andy Dalton is number 2. Sam Darnold is number 3. Derek Carr Darnold and Dalton are tied for 2. Carr is 4th. Then you've got Baker Mayfield. And then Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray. I mean, like, what? How is that possible?
It's very strange.
How is it possible that those are the guys that are the top of the list? And Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and C.J. Stroud and Matt Stafford and Patrick Mahomes.
Do you think it's just early?
I mean, some of it is early, obviously, but the longer you go into the season, the more it becomes, a thing, right? Sam Darnold's been a bad quarterback for like a while now, right?
Well, it's also, I heard someone talking the other day about Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold playing so well being more of an indictment on the Panthers, which is funny that now Dalton had a great day with them yesterday after they benched Bryce Young.
Right. So, I mean, look, I don't know how to determine all of it and come away with some clear-cut reasoning, analysis. This is why something happens. This is why it doesn't. I don't know that we know the answer to that stuff, but I give Sam Darnold credit. I've never been a fan. I do think that eventually his fumbling problems will become an issue and will cost him, but a team that no one expected anything from. And by the way, like, I follow a couple folks in Minnesota. they've been killing their GM leading into the season about how all of his draft picks are gone and he doesn't, draft well, and this is a problem and that's a problem. Well, his team's 3-0, and they've had some pretty legitimate wins so far. Definitely curious to see where that goes.
And I guess we
forward.
should remember that Josh Dobbs, had to come to them mid-season last year because of an injury, and he looked amazing for a few games, and everyone was raving about him, and that kind of fell apart.
Yes.
But their defense does look for real because the Texans have been doing pretty well.
Yes. Yeah, no, obviously it's the defense more than Darnold, but Darnold's one under center, and he's going to get a lot of the credit. Do I think that'll last all year? No. Is it a good story for him right now? Absolutely.
All right, well, it was a defensive battle in New Orleans between the Saints and the Eagles. A Saints field goal on the opening drive was the lone score until Saquon Barkley broke free for a 65-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Catches his best game. Here's Barkley. Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's the guy. He's going to take it. Touchdown from 65.
The Saints then kicked a field goal to make it a one-point game, and after an Eagles missed field goal on the next drive, the Saints seemed like they were back in control with a 13-yard touchdown to Chris Olave that made it 12-7 New Orleans. But on the ensuing Eagles drive, New Orleans somehow allowed Jalen Hurts to hit Dallas Goedert for a 61-yard completion on 3rd and 16.
Trying to get some of it back. They'll get plenty. Dallas Goedert is wide open. Down the sideline. Inside the 10. First and goal for Philly. 60 yards from Hurts to Goedert.
Saquon Barkley then punched it in for the 15-12 lead with 1 minute left. Derek Carr completed one short pass before attempting to bomb it deep to Rashid Shaheed and throwing a game-ending pick to Reed Blankenship. So Eagles win that one 15-12.
Yeah, despite really not playing very well in the game. And I don't know what's going on with Jalen Hurts. I mean, for all of the excitement over Darnold and Geno, some of the guys that have been playing well to start the year, Jalen Hurts is somebody that, I've been a big fan of. I don't think I'm the only one. And certainly guy went to a Super Bowl and very nearly won one. And you're watching him now going, he didn't look like the same guy.
Well, without that big Barkley run and what was just a complete defensive breakdown by the Saints on that Goddard play, he had nothing really yesterday.
And that's not just been today. He struggled down the stretch last year. He's really struggled throughout the first 3 weeks of this season. I'm not going to count him out because obviously we see some of the up and down nature of this quarterback position in today's version of the NFL. And it's not just the quarterback. There's other factors that play a role. But man, I would really like for him to get it together. It's not that I'm an Eagles fan, far from it, but I am a Jalen Hurts fan, and I'm bummed to see the way he's playing right now.
I honestly don't think Philly's being too hard. I'm starting to think Nick Sirianni's not a great coach.
It sure feels that way.
I think there were some rumors he and Jalen Hurts don't get along that well, so, it could be partially environment that's impacting.
Did he not take easy points again yesterday that would have really, just some of the decision making is very surprising in Philadelphia.
Without that Saints defensive breakdown, I think he's on the hot seat for sure still, but it would have been way worse.
Agreed.
All right. Oh, another one of your favorites. We're going to talk a little Bo Nix here. Or Mo Picks, as our
Dude, how about this? Before you tell me about Bo Nix.
And how great he was?
Yeah, so week 1 of the season, right? Right leading up to week 1 of the season, we have our friend Zach Bion, who you know as well more from your time in Denver, right? Zach's a really nice guy. And I torched Bo Nix, and he went on and on about, this guy's the future, Hall of Famer, yada, yada, yada. Okay, fine. So Bo Nix plays, what did G say? He was cheeks in that first game.
Yes, that was G's term, yes.
He was cheeks in the first game against the Seahawks. He was cheeks last week, maybe even worse. And do I text Zach? No. Do I rub it in? Do I do it? No. Nothing whatsoever. Yesterday, Bo Nix finally completes a couple of passes, gets his first win, and do I get a text from Zach at 12:49 p.m. of Mr. Nix in his Oregon Ducks jersey? Yes, I do. I get a gift text.
That's Broncos fans for you.
My gosh.
I used to live there. That's how they roll.
I said, yeah, he's on his way to Canton. Good luck. Man, after I showed all that restraint, that's what I get. Just terrible.
Well, because, they're just back to their delusions. They have to be. It's been rough for them, Just let them have it.
No.
I
give them nothing.
All right, well, another team that was off to a hot start that had a rough day yesterday was the Bucs, and they were playing the Broncos. The Bucs punted 4 times, turned it over on downs twice, and had an interception and a fumble in a 26-7 loss to Denver. Bo Nix was 25 for 36 for 216 yards, and he had another 47 and this touchdown on the ground.
Oh, he gave Nix an option, and he's going to take it right to the corner for the touchdown.
That was an outstanding series right there by the rookie quarterback.
I'll say this about Bo Nix. Dude can run. I got no problems with that. I mean, I do really like, seriously, I do like the way he moves with the ball, whether running to throw or running to run. I do like the way he moves in the pocket and outside of it.
I just hear Outcast in my head when you say that.
I like the way you move.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield was 25 for 33 for 163 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He was sacked 7 times and hit 9. So that Denver defense had a lot to do with their win as well. But some of these undefeated teams crashing back to reality in week 3.
And I never thought that Tampa was going to be, one of the world beaters this year.
Yeah.
But Baker's played really well now for a couple of seasons, right? I mean, it's not like it's just been a few weeks. And whatever they had in terms of the game plan for Denver was not the right one. That was a complete disaster for them.
Well, we'll move into division here. The Niners jumped out to a 14-0 lead, scoring touchdowns on their first 2 possessions against the Rams, but Los Angeles pulled within 1 score in the 3rd. And when the Niners missed a field goal in the 4th, they took the lead with this 4-yard Kyron Williams rushing touchdown.
They check the play. To a draw, to Williams. Stafford to it. His arm's in the air. Williams is in, and the Rams are an extra point away from tying it.
That was the 3rd touchdown of the day for Kyron Williams. Probably not his most impressive, considering he did a front flip into the end zone for one of them, but that was probably his most important. The Rams forced the Niners to punt on their next drive and kicked a 37-yard field goal with 2 seconds remaining to win it 27-24 and avoid overtime. Kyle Shanahan was unhappy with the Niners special teams postgame, pointing to a Rams fake punt in the first half that ended up being a touchdown scoring drive, and then the missed field goal in the 4th quarter.
Today, that fake punt, it's just the momentum in the game. That's where I thought we had a chance to run away with it, not give them any hope, and that gave them a lot of hope, got them back in it, and obviously would have loved to make that field goal. And then every punt return, I didn't really see it. They got to the left on our side. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but those are 3 big plays in the game.
Yeah, punt return ended up being huge, set him up for that final touchdown or final field goal. So I have a theory on this, Maura. It's just a theory. Okay. The Niners have spent a lot of money on trying to keep this group together here the last couple of years, right? Now, it's mitigated by the fact that their quarterback doesn't make bupkis, but they're trying to hold the world together. They're trying to pay Ayuk, and they're trying to pay Debo, and they're trying to pay McCaffrey, and they're trying to pay the left tackle. I mean, they're trying to pay everybody up front on that defense and the linebackers. You're paying a lot of dudes.
I mean, the Seahawks ended up in a similar position in the LOB era.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does that take a toll on your special teams as you are, forced to play with, I don't know, guys either that, with less depth, less attention paid to the bottom of the roster?
Anyways, though?
Yeah, but if your guys there aren't as good, maybe those 2 things are connected. Draft picks that you've kind of given I don't know. I mean, as I said, it's just a theory. It's a working theory. But if you're looking for ways to make the Niners vulnerable, playing without Christian McCaffrey helps. And maybe special teams is another spot where they can be picked on a little bit and exposed. Seahawks special teams have been pretty good to start the year. If that's an opportunity to beat the Niners in a couple of weeks when you play them, they'll take it. The way you are rooting for that game probably says a little bit about how you feel about the Seahawks. If you're rooting for the Niners to lose, you probably think the Seahawks are capable of winning this division. if you're rooting for the Rams to lose, you're probably thinking, all right, you're maybe not going to catch the Niners this year, but you got an opportunity to get past the Rams and Cardinals, finish in second place, and get in as a wild card. At 1-2, while the Seahawks are 3-0, I mean, with a legitimate 2-game lead in the division, knowing that they've got injury concerns in the Bay, you got to be thinking about a division title now. I know it's only 3 weeks in, and I'm not trying to look too far down the line, but that should be your thought process, no?
Yeah, no, that's a good point that those are the ways you would look at it. I mean, we saw the Niners struggle last year and come surging back all the way to the Super Bowl, so you could never count them out, but it does seem like things are just starting to stack up for them. But it's crazy, though. Deebo Samuel's out, and Jawan Jennings has 11 catches for 175 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I mean, they got a pretty good offensive system, and I think people who think Brock Purdy is just, being made by his wide receivers are wrong. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. But you got to do better in that 1-minute drill or 2-minute drill that he had yesterday, and ultimately they lose to the Rams. So you'll take it as a Seahawks fan. That's a pretty good day.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we're running out of time here. Do you want a little Colts Bears, Ravens Cowboys, or Panthers Raiders?
I really feel like the national media isn't going to cover the Cowboys. So if you wouldn't mind, please make sure we get a little bit of Cowboy talk. Now, the Cowboys stink, and I listened all morning to the Jerry Jones stuff. I don't need any of that. Yeah, I'll take one or 2 minutes on the Colts and the Bears, just because I'm interested in both quarterbacks.
All right, well, Anthony Richardson went 10 for 20 for 100. He's keeping up that pace kind of this offseason of completing about half of his passes for 167 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Yet the Colts still beat the Bears 21-16. Caleb Williams was asked to throw much more than you would want a rookie quarterback to, because the Bears only mustered 63 rushing yards. Williams was 33 for 52 for 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Former Husky Rome Odunze had a big day with 6 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown. It was Caleb Williams' first.
Low snap. Williams fields it to the end zone. Touchdown! Rome Odunze! First touchdown pass in the career of Caleb Williams.
And the first touchdown reception for Rome Odunze, right?
Both, yeah.
Yeah, cool. That way, Rome.
And I think his dad was beefing with Dan Orlovsky last week because
Rome's dad?
Orlovsky was saying Odunze couldn't get any separation, and Rome Odunze's dad sent him like a highlight. So glad he's having a good week after that.
Jeez.
The Colts defense coming up with 3 turnovers, a goal line stand, and a big day from running back Jonathan Taylor with 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ended up being enough for the Colts to get their first win of the season.
Man, that Anthony Richardson is somebody that I think has like an intriguing quality to him. He's somebody I want to watch. He's somebody I'm rooting for. But he's going to have to put it together at some point and actually start completing passes. It's tough. He's not a rookie, but in some ways he sort of is, because he didn't get to play all that much last year before he got hurt.
Well, and whoever drafted him knew they were taking him with very little college experience, and it was going to take some time, and they threw him right in, whereas I thought maybe a team that took him might wait a little while.
Yeah, and then he did nothing, right? Then he gets hurt, so he barely plays last year.
Yeah.
He's a moose. I mean, he's a big dude, and if you can find ways to take advantage of his legs in addition to the arm, I do think that you could build the right type of offense around him, but yeah, 10 for 20 and 2 picks, not going to get it done in this league. Not generally.
The Panthers, well, here, we can squeeze this in real quick. I did want to play this Antonio Pierce sound because it's intense. The Panthers look like a completely different team with Andy Dalton at quarterback, earning their first win of the season, 36-22 over the Raiders. Andy Dalton threw for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. But after the game, at one point, Gardner Minshew got pulled because it was out of hand, and they put Aiden O'Connell in. Antonio Pierce calling out his players, or at least some of them.
Saw that.
The team just didn't seem to show up tonight.
No, they didn't. I think as the game went on, I don't think it was. I think there was definitely some individuals that made business decisions, and we'll make business decisions going forward as well.
I I know Devontae Adams looked like he was kind of pounding on the bench at the end. So.
Well, I want to hear. I want to hear more. I'm curious whether dudes get benched, whether they get sent out of there. Yeah, don't make business decisions during games. Not with a coach like him. We'll step up and try to hold you accountable for it. We'll see where it goes. All right, good stuff, Maura. Thank you for the trip around the NFL. It was generally, and again, a really good weekend for these Seahawks. And at the center of it all is what they're doing. Are they playing the best teams in the league? No. Are they winning convincingly? Abso-freaking-lutely. And to me, it all comes back to one big thing. Tell you what that is next on Brock and Salk.
This is Seattle Sports.
Thompson sets, stops, looks, gets hit, goes down. Derek Hall comes around the corner, and he is there to add to his sack total.
On defense side of the ball, we're just trying to come out, be resilient, start fast, keep going, and finish the game. And I think we did that really, really well today.
Gino from the shotgun, hands it to Charbonnet, left side. He's in. Touchdown, Seahawks.
I thought we took a step forward today. It's a great win. I mean, it's awesome to be 3-0, but obviously we got a big one coming up too. So
we are the home of the Seahawks.
When the hot water needs to be hot, when the drain needs to drain, when the toilet needs to flush, you need to do two things. Stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical. On call and there when you need them most. 1-800-FREAKIN or beaconplumbing.net.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with no credit financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. It's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment needed and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. You know, I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. You know, basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Be at T-Mobile Park for the final weekend of the regular season. The action gets started with Mariners Fan Appreciation Night this Friday.
Back-to-back doubles, instant energy, and everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
The Mariners are squaring off against the A's at 7:10, and after the game, stick around for a special fireworks show presented by T-Mobile. Plus, you'll have the chance to win incredible prizes all night long, including Alaska Airlines flights, autographed jerseys, a first pitch in 2025, and more.
A high riser riding back into the corner.
Go to Mariners.com to get your tickets and check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park during our closing series against the A's, including Kids Appreciation Day this Sunday at 12:10, presented by Optum.
Strike three called. Four-seam fastball. Just seared the outside corner.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Got DK open. Touchdown! Seahawks! A 71-yarder to DK.
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Brock, I'm excited. I'm excited about the Seahawks defense. I really am.
You're in?
I'm in on the defense. I'm pretty excited about it. I thought they dominated in week 1. As I said after that, I thought it was the best defensive performance we've seen in years. Mm-hmm. I think they were better than the narrative in week 2, where they gave up a bunch of yards, especially on the ground, but got off the field in all the big moments where they needed to. And then they were just ridiculous yesterday. I mean, they were just absurd.
Yeah. I like that jacket on you, by the way. It's a good
hoodie. You're a hoodie. I know you like when I go hoodie.
I am just a big fan of your hoodie stuff.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Would you talk about the Seahawks and not my fashion sense?
No, you just look good this morning on Monday.
I always look good.
No, not every Monday you don't look good, but just everybody feels good in that building, Salk. You know that. You walk in there, there's a little different juice when your team is 3-0 and everything is. Yeah, it's on the up and up. I think there were 3 things yesterday that were just clear as day to me that resonated and jumped out. A little bit about this defense, actually a lot about this defense, but just in totality. Number 1, situational superiority. The Dolphins were down a quarterback and then down 2 because you knocked the just living daylights out of that guy over and over. But they were 1 for 15 on 3rd and 4th down. To hold any NFL team with Tyreek Hill and Waddle, some good linemen, good tight ends, 1 for 15 on 3rd and 4th, and most importantly, 0 for 2 in the red zone. One of them in a sudden change at the 5-yard line, and another one of them at the end of the game to really close it out. Absolute situational superiority. Number 2, the level of speed and violence. I think violence has become my favorite word. It's trumped physicality and some of the other things. You can just tell, and McDonald said it, man. He's on the field. He can feel how hard these guys play, how hard Charbonnet ran to close that game out, how hard Hall and Maffei are playing, how hard Spoon is playing, how hard guys are flying everywhere, Salk. I mean, just the violence factor was just off the charts. And then you know what, man? I love when you start fast and you finish strong. That's 3 games, man. You started fast, right? Started fast against Denver, put up 14 points in New England. Obviously put 17 on the board early. You started fast, and then you finished strong. It's not being talked about. It's not an identity. It's not a philosophy or a mantra. It's just what they're doing. They're starting fast, and in this league, as Titus said to me yesterday as we were flipping around the dial, he's like, can't you just watch the final 2 minutes of every NFL game? Pretty much, man. Start fast, finish strong. I thought the boys were just, off the charts in all 3 of those all 3 of them yesterday, and that's how you win in this league by 3+ touchdowns.
Absolutely. You see this stat. I saw it was a Good Morning Football researcher who put this out yesterday. The Seahawks are the first team to start 3-0 while allowing fewer than 150 passing yards in each game since the 1979 Steelers.
Yeah, that was Tony Dungy, Mel Blunt.
I mean, that's
Lambert.
That's pretty good. They get pressure.
I think
They tackle well.
Clayton was 17. Then starting to cover those Steelers. Maybe he was 20. Yes.
They get pressure, Brock, on the quarterback. Yep. They've tackled well. They cover well. They're violent, as you said. They're physical, and that stat probably reflects all of those things. And it also reflects the 3 or 4 quarterbacks that they've faced. I'm not blind to the fact that they've yet to face a real legitimate threat, and I'm sure Jared Goff will have more than 150 yards on Monday Night Football. But maybe balancing that off is that this is still a new system to them. Mm-hmm. They're just learning this system. And, oh, by the way, their coach is drinking from a fire hose, essentially, trying to make sure that he can ingest all of the information that he needs to in his dual job situation where he's new. So I think that they're more likely to get better than worse, even though I know they're going to face a lot better quarterbacks than they have so far.
Yeah, competition is going to get a lot stiffer. You know, you're going to see in your own division 3 very, very competent quarterbacks. But I'll tell you this, and it's kind of a mantra from the other side of the street over there that Scott really tried to build in many of his years at the Mariners, Salk, be hard to play against. Mm-hmm. My goodness gracious. Yeah. I mean, above everything else, just from like the most simple level that you can place a label, I mean, through 3 games, they've been hard to play against.
Very.
I mean, just like defensively, everything is earned. Sure, you know, you want to run, and New England did a good job and got out on a couple explosive runs and piled up some rushing yards. But, man, ask Jacoby Brissett, ask Skylar Thompson, ask Bo Nix, right? If you did a little exit interview with all of those guys, like, whew, what jumped out the most? Those guys they're hard to play against. I mean, there was nothing open. How about the screens yesterday, Salk? How many screens in years past? I know that Dr. or Coach K was the screen master himself. But Boye Mafe and Derek Hall running down screens? Young linebackers just thrown into the mix, running down screens?
Yeah.
Safeties just all over screens? Like, you don't have one screen master, Coach K. You got like screen masters galore,
and they're just blowing them up with the physicality and everything else. You asked me a minute ago, Brock. Okay, what? Ask those quarterbacks what they think. How about asking the wide receivers from Miami what they think? Because really, the crux of this defense has been its secondary so far. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know they don't have a quarterback. I get it. I know there was no quarterback really to get them the ball yesterday, but Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle ranked number 2 and 14 on that off-season wide receiver list put together by Jeremy Fowler based on what people around the league told him. Tyreek was number 2. Waddle was 14. Both of them were ahead of anybody on the Seahawks team. And they did a grand total of jack squat yesterday.
Yeah, 0. That would be a Tyrell Dodson 0 against Spoon and Woolen when they were covering him. That was a 0. And, yeah, you could feel some of their frustration mounting. You know, I haven't.
In order to feel their frustration, I would have had to have noticed them.
Yeah.
Honestly, Brock, I didn't feel their frustration mounting.
Well,
Maybe it was, and I didn't see it.
Let's be honest. You fell asleep in the second. You and Gertie fell asleep for a little bit at the middle of the game. Can you just be honest with the audience?
It's kind of boring. Yes, I did fall asleep for a little bit in the third quarter.
Yes, you did.
But so then I woke back up.
Right.
Come on.
I think that's when the camera showed Waddle on the sidelines once and Tyreek maybe after a play.
That was during the third quarter. Why are you going to sell me out like that?
No, well,
I don't know why you're going to sell me out.
We are a show of transparency, Saul.
I didn't mean to be that transparent. I mean, geez, that's
and I think our fantasy football doctor, or master, I think she said on Friday, be very careful about playing Hill and Waddle.
Yeah.
Like if you got them on your roster, this may be a week to sit them.
And I was big on Charbonnet, so it all,
boom,
all came
boom. Just nailed it, Maura.
Well,
Absolutely
this is how you build something special. You be great at something. Mm-hmm. And right now what the Seahawks are great at is defense, and especially not giving up passing yards. They are second in yards given up through the air. They're 4th in points. They've given up 43 points in 3 games, Brock, which is like a 14.4 average. Mm-hmm. But of those 43 points, how many of them are more on the offense than the defense?
Yeah.
Half? Roughly half?
Yeah.
I mean, like, 4 of them are literally on the offense with safeties.
Couple safeties, couple
You've
field goals
got
for sure.
A bunch of field goals that came in, and even one of the it's not even just the offense. One came off of the punt return flubbed inside the 10. I mean, it's really remarkable what this defense has done. Yeah. They're just not giving up anything.
I mean, I hate to say this, and I'm sure others will start to do it, and it just feels like, come on, be better than that. Come on, you don't just have to go back to 1995. Come on, you don't have to just go back to what is familiar and what is known. But truly, Salk, for the first time in a long time, we are getting LOB vibes. You're getting it from the opponent. You're getting those opponents that aren't running as hard. You're getting those opponents, to me, that are starting to look maybe for a little green grass to find because they know they're going to get absolutely whacked.
I think that's fair. I don't get LOB vibes from this team.
No,
because they the attitude and the way it's so thoroughly different.
Correct.
But in terms of, could they be building something special? Could they be building a nucleus of something that is going to lead them to much greater heights than we've seen here for the last few years? Yeah.
Are they putting on tape? Because here's what happens, man. Dan Campbell, today starts to put that tape on and go, geez, all right. Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown and those guys put the tape on and they go, ooh, yeah, these guys are, this is not the Seahawks defense of the last few years, where there's gaping holes, where there's completions to be had, where guys are getting carried, where there are yards galore. Like, man, you're going to have to go take it from them. Like, you're going to have to earn this because they are going to come hit you in the freaking mouth, which is what they've done now for 3 weeks, man.
Did you have fun hanging out with Macy this weekend in Oklahoma State?
So fun. So fun. We'll have plenty of time to talk about it. Just such a blast. Over the course of the week, we will.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't know how much time we're going to have today. The Seahawks are 3-0. Mike McDonald's going to join us at 9:30. We got a lot going on. We'll give you guys everything you need to know next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
This is Seattle Sports.
Throw deep, got DK open, touchdown, Seahawks, a 71-yarder to DK.
DK was able to get behind him. I thought the protection was great. Allowed us that extra second we needed to get the ball downfield. That was a big play for us.
Down to the 1, he's in, touchdown, Seahawks, Zach Charbonnet.
With the type of defense that we have on our team, it just gives us the utmost confidence to go out there and just play free.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Hey, this morning, are you waking up searching for a local, trustworthy group of pros to assist you with your mortgage needs? Brock Hewitt here, and who you can count on in this market. It's Stila Mortgage. They have been the go-to mortgage experts in the state for over 25 years. And if you've heard me talk about these reverse mortgages and you're 62 or older, well, give them a call because they'll help you decide if that is the right choice for you and your family. If monthly payments are impacting your credit score and just killing your monthly cash flow, Tila can once again assist you in consolidating your debts with proven programs like a refinance loan or a home equity line of credit, that HELOC, which may come into play right now as we saw a significant rate cut from the Fed just a week ago. Additionally, if you're purchasing a new home, those rates are even better. Tila can guide you through the ins and outs of a new home loan as well. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is the trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. Give them a call this morning at 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or TilaMortgage.com. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker, MLS 247-2046.
All right, Seattle fans, the gloves are off. Techline has the strongest warranty in the business. Give Techline a call and we'll come out for a free inspection. Take advantage of our easy financing and our summer special. Trust Techline.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
If you haven't heard yet, Toyota's Camry called an audible with the brand new hybrid 2025 Camry. And at Toyota of Kirkland, they're excited to put it in play. What? Backed by the lifetime powertrain warranty, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive so you can take home that 2025 hybrid Camry the same day. Come check it out at the amazing showroom at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here for Johnson Fitness and Wellness, where I got my home gym. Now the difference? Their expert staff. They ask great questions like, what are your fitness goals? What kind of space are you working with at home, and what's your budget? Johnson Fitness and Wellness experts get you the right machine for your home gym dream setup. And right now, in-store only while supplies last, mention this ad and our listeners get an indoor cycle for free with Select Force USA Home Gyms. Shop stores in Bellevue, Tacoma, Linwood, or visit johnsonfitness.com.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 2 tickets to see Deftones live at Climate Pledge Arena on February 27th. Head to seattlesports.com/win to enter and to see contest rules. That's seattlesports.com/win for your chance to win.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 10/13/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with no credit financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
You know what sounds good, Brock? 3-0. 3-0 sounds pretty good. It's got a pretty nice ring to it. Even better when the rest of the division is all 1-2, and you got a 2-game lead on everybody. Now, nothing gets settled in the first 3 games of any football season, but what a way to start. Not a pretty football game yesterday. 22 penalties accepted. Even more were called. 11 on each team. But other than that, Seahawks dominated. Defense didn't allow a touchdown. They allow 1 field goal. That came on a drive in which the Dolphins got the ball on the 4-yard line and moved all of 2 yards. They had 6 sacks. They had 12 quarterback hits. They knocked out one of the quarterbacks. They had 7 tackles for a loss. I mean, defensively, I don't know what else you would possibly want them to do. They were incredible.
How do you think Skylar Thompson's feeling this morning?
I think his ribs hurt.
How do you think that 3,500-mile flight for not just Skylar? I mean, how many guys they knock out of that game? Concussion, knee. I mean, it was like whack-a-dolphin. I mean, they just got all over them, right?
It was
From
like the
beginning
whole
to end.
Seahawks team against just that one defensive lineman who was everywhere for them.
Yeah, that dude was a good player.
That guy's really good. They were phenomenal defensively, and then the offense did what they had to do. You had the bomb from Gino to DK, and then Charbonnet kind of getting it done late. Cut 2, we finished this game off in style.
2nd down and 7, and he stays in the game to Charbonnet, and he gets the handoff, and he looks for running room, and he pops it outside, near side, down to the 1, he's in! Touchdown! Seahawks! Zach Charbonnet scores from 13 out, make it 10 out, and a couple of players had to be pulled apart down on the field, but the big play made by Charbonnet hits it up inside, bounces it outside to the right, and outruns him to the end zone. His 2nd touchdown of the game makes it 23-3.
Yeah, throw in 3 sacks as well, or 6 sacks as well. 2 from your buddy. That just looks like a different guy. And you know, if I gave you kind of 3 points off the top, situational superiority, violence, and then just starting fast and finishing strong. So this is 3 weeks now, where both your freshman class to the sophomore and your sophomore to the junior, these young guys have all taken big steps, man. They've all absolutely taken the strides from Charbonnet to Derek Hall. I know that's one of your takeaways later, but man, that's what you wanted to see this season. Your young people getting better. 3 games in, 3-0, pretty darn good start.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the big part of it has been the defense, and Mike McDonald pretty impressed, cut 3, and how they stepped up even after a couple of injuries up front.
That's how we expect our defense to play, and this is kind of like, okay, so they're down, next guy's rolling. Let's go back to work.
Well, that was good. Unfortunately, those injury concerns are going to be problematic moving forward, right? You're going to play Detroit and their physical offensive line. You'd sure like to have Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy back. Let's see. In the division, Rams came from behind to beat the Niners late. That was pretty crazy. Cardinals lose to Detroit. Seahawks will be in the Motor City on Monday night, Brock.
Can't wait.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
6 games, 2 series left for the Mariners. They find themselves 5 back in the division and 3 games in the wild card. This, after a nutty weekend, it nearly saw them sweep the Rangers. They were this close. Blowout win on Friday, blowout win Saturday, all basically keyed by the red-hot Julio Rodriguez. We'll talk more about him at 8 o'clock. And with a 5-0 lead, it looks like yesterday's just going to be more of the same. Instead, Texas comes roaring back. They eventually walk it off with a Marcus Semien single in the 9th. Mariners can't get it done. Dan Wilson cut 7, not what he needed.
This is a tough one to swallow. Obviously, we win the series. That's a positive. We got a big series ahead of us. And, we've got to turn the page quickly on this and move on, which we've been able to do. So, we'll do it tonight and move on, be ready for Houston tomorrow.
Gosh, darn it. 5-0 into the 6th inning. Just go finish. And you sweep them away. You'd be 1 back in the wild card. I know technically 2 with tiebreakers and everything else, but you'd be right there.
Yeah.
And you just can't, finish.
Yeah, so the tiebreaker scenario, if I understand it all right, in the wild card, you lose the tiebreaker with all 3 teams. You've got 4 teams battling for 2 spots. Kansas City, Detroit, Seattle, and Minnesota. You lose the head-to-head tiebreaker with both Minnesota and Detroit because they beat you 4 and 5 times out of 6. You lose the tiebreaker with Kansas City based on intra-division record. So they have a better record in the AL Central than you do in the AL West. So you've got to be 1 game clear of at least, 3 of those 4 teams.
And Kansas City's falling apart. The Twins are falling apart. Like, they're just falling apart. These teams are falling apart in front of you, and you just unfortunately are right there and couldn't close the deal.
Minnesota has Miami for 3. Detroit has Tampa for 3. Kansas City has the Washington Nationals for 3. All while you go to Houston. Game 1 tonight. Bryce Miller, Hunter Brown. Astros could be without Yordan Alvarez, who hurt his knee in yesterday's loss.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Huskies and Cougs both win. Cougs are just outside the top 25, right? They were the next team with the most votes. So really, they're like number 26. They play Boise State this weekend, who's 25. So win, and you're in the top 25.
Absolutely.
Do we need to talk more about Jake Dickert, Brock?
Dicker's awesome. And how about their QB that threw for 380 and ran for
I mean,
110?
that's awesome. But I just think about what Dickert took over, where the program was at, and what he's had to deal with during that time. For his team to be anywhere near the top 25 is a remarkable achievement.
1,000%. And I just love his transparency, right? If Mike McDonald, what you love about him is his vulnerability and transparency. You hear Dickert after the game, like on the field, like, that's on me. I mean, I was terrible. Our coaches, we didn't have these guys ready to play. Our players totally picked us up, totally screwed it up. And a shout out to Michael Bumpus. Making awful announcing for all the right reasons. You know, go to overtime and he calls it out. All they need is a field goal. Just run the ball, and they throw it. Mateer throws a terrible pick, and Bumpus like, yeah, that's why you run the ball and go close the game out. They couldn't do it, or they did do it, 54-52 in overtime, and the Huskies 24-5. I told you the Northwestern QB may be the worst in the history of college football. He was 8 of 27, 53 yards and 2 picks.
How did he get that 8?
8 of 27, 53 yards and 2 picks.
It's not a good day. Not a good day at the office. That's everything you need to know. Quarter past every hour. Storm lose game 1 of the playoffs, as did the Fever last night. Kraken started their preseason game. I don't think it was on TV, but that's kind of where everybody else is at right now. Okay, so it's been a love fest, right? We've had a love fest for the first half hour of the show, and for good reason with the Seahawks, what they did this weekend and starting 3-0. In honor of their 3-0 start, Brock, I have 3 Seahawks questions about where they're at and where they could be moving forward. I'll ask you next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
This is Seattle Sports.
Thompson sets, stops, looks, gets hit, goes down. Derek Hall comes around the corner, and he is there to add to his sack total.
On the defense side of the ball, we're just trying to come out, be resilient, start fast, keep going, and finish the game. And I think we did that really, really well today.
Gino from the shotgun, hands it to Charbonnet, left side, he's in, touchdown, Seahawks!
I thought we took a step forward today. It's a great win. I mean, it's awesome to be 3-0, but obviously we got a big one coming up too. So
we are the home of the Seahawks.
All right, guys, I know you're not thinking about your crawl space or your attic, right? It's out of sight, it's out of mind, but even when you're not thinking about it, real issues can arise, especially as we have now entered the fall months, right? Temperatures are dropping, especially at night. Rats, mice, other rodents, they just want a cozy place to make a home and reproduce, but you don't need it to be, your home, because the result can be a smelly mess and destroyed insulation. Under-insulated, improper insulation is the leading cause of the high heating bills in the winter, so it's important to know what's going on behind the crawl space or attic hatch. Guess what, though? Crawl Pros is partnering with Puget Sound Energy. They're providing special rebates on insulation work. So if you're a PSC customer and your home was built before 1990, you just might qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space or attic. So take advantage of these enormous rebates today. Call Crawl Pros or go to crawlpros.com. Call them before the cold, wet weather sets in. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule that free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncertain condition with brilliant luster that is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-495-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over a $55 value free with every order. Call 1-800-495-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
Hey, college students, want to save more on groceries? Every dollar counts, so my friends at Safeway are helping by giving all university, community, and technical college students an extra 5% savings every day. It's called Safeway for You. Sign up is free and easy. Safeway for You members get extra savings with perks, points, and free products. For all the details and terms, visit Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U. That's Safeway.com/for-you.
This is Seattle Sports.
Down to the one. He's in. Touchdown. Seahawks. Zach Charbonnet.
The home of the Seahawks.
At Mazda of Everett, you can always expect to receive exceptional customer service and exceptional deals. Mazda of Everett is a great friend of Seattle sports, and you'll be satisfied with both. Shop from over 600 new Mazdas in stock. And right now, they're offering 0% financing on all new Mazda CX-5s, CX-30s, CX-50s, and CX-90s on approved credit. Need more reasons? It feels like working with family when you work with Mazda of Everett. You will drive away happy. See for yourself at MazdaofEverett.com.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work?
Can you have both?
If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both.
That's right. I'm Anthony with Asset Roofing, and we've replaced thousands of Western Washington roofs. We've replaced all types of roofs, both residential and commercial. We want to help local homeowners replace their roof before winter.
I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. I was impressed by their communication and knowledge. Their quality work and attention to detail made for a very pleasant experience.
I'm pleased to hear that. We strive to deliver a quality, long-lasting roof replacement you can trust and an experience that will give you peace of mind.
Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Cheat here, Brock. I feel bad about this. I mean, obviously at 7:45 we do Blue 88, which is 3 good football questions, but I also have 3 other Seahawks questions to ask you before then. Jeez. So really the next half hour is going to be 6 questions, but only 3 of them will be labeled as Blue 88. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Gosh.
What, is that upsetting to you? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's just too many questions.
Blue 89!
Well,
Blue 89!
The first 3 aren't just for you. The first 3 are for the world in general.
Oh, great.
The last 3 are really for you in particular. Here's the first question, and it needs to be asked because it's the most common refrain. The Seahawks are 3-0. How much of their success is due to the competition and the quarterbacks that they've faced?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to answer that. I mean, like, they don't have a choice in who they face. It's not like to take any like style points away or anything like that. Like, well, they're NFL teams. NFL teams are all pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But they have faced 3 or now I guess 4 quarterbacks, and none of whom have been very good.
No, none of them cracked the tier 1 or tier 2 or probably even into tier 3 at this stage of their careers.
I mean,
although
one guy was a rookie on the road.
Mo Picks played pretty good yesterday.
I know he did. He played
no
better.
picks for Mo Picks.
Yeah, I got a text from Zach By all about it.
Oh, did you? Shocking. Okay.
Yes, I know. He didn't text me after the first 2 games, but he did yesterday. All right, but he was also a rookie in his first ever start in week 1. You got Jacoby Brissett, who's a career backup in week 2.
Yep.
And then you get 2 guys yesterday that were just, I mean, those guys aren't really, NFL players, just barely. So you've not faced anybody in terms of the quarterback position, but you've faced a New England team that has a legitimate ability to run the ball and a very good running back. You faced a Broncos team that has some defensive pieces and some offensive line pieces. And then you face a Dolphins team that has 2 of the best receivers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So how much of the Seahawks' success is due to who they've played?
Well, there is certainly a big part of that because none of those guys really do threaten. They don't create. They don't elevate people around them. But this isn't Aaron Corp. I mean, this wasn't what Pete Carroll walked in facing Steve Sarkisian, right? Remember that game?
Oh,
and there's an open receiver, and there's an open receiver, and there's a dusted ball, and there's a one hop, and there's, I mean, your eyes can also see it, like when a quarterback is totally ineffective. Honestly, that Weber State quarterback in week 1 was, I couldn't believe that guy was playing. I couldn't believe the Northwestern guy at 8 of 27. Even Damon, we were watching Northwestern a couple weeks ago in Salt Lake City together. He's like, how is this guy a starting power 4 quarterback? I mean, he can't throw the ball. So when you watch these 3 games, did your eyes see, there's an open receiver? Maybe with Bo Nix a little bit. A couple times he sailed balls.
It's not so much that I've seen that. It's that I've seen an unwillingness to even take a shot at anything like that.
And how much of that's quarterback versus how much of that is the clock? And all of a sudden that pocket is just, and that's a good Denver team, but they got after that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
That's a physical New England team that can't pass block, and they decimated those suckers. And that Miami O-line, is not a bad group, but, again, they knock a couple of their guys out, and you got backups in there.
I think that's fair. But if you were to take Aaron Rodgers and put him behind that Miami, offense yesterday, I think I'm willing to bet he takes a few more shots down the field.
He does.
I'm
he
willing
hangs,
to bet
he
there's
hangs
a
in there.
few
Yes.
more balls that get released and thrown and put on a guy.
100%.
than
100%.
what we saw in those games.
And Trent Green said that. There were a couple different occasions, one in the red zone on that first sudden change stop where Skyler came off of, he just doesn't wait, right? Takes a little bit and you got to hang in there. And he just didn't wait that extra beat and put the ball into the back corner for Waddle. Instead, he scrambles and has to throw it away. And it amounts to nothing. But I can't say in watching these games that whoa, man, thank goodness. Because there are guys running free all over the place. Everything has felt contested. And as Lyle sent to us last night, Salk, remember, and as ChatGPT helped you last week, remember that the Colt McCoys and the Sam Darnolds and all of the perennial backups.
They all did it to you in the past.
They did.
But
they did.
I understand everybody who's writing in to be like, hey, hold your horses. Let's see what this looks like after Detroit. Because I do think that, as successful as they've been, some of it is due to the competition. But you're beating up the competition. That's the only people that you've had the opportunity to play so far. And do I still like their chances against Detroit or any of the other teams? Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way this defense is playing regardless of who it is. Okay, there's question 1. Question 2.
My turn. Why am I getting all of these hormone emails?
Oh my God.
That's now 2. I got one like Saturday in my inbox. Hey, phone, stop listening to my radio show.
You don't know that your phone does that?
Hey, phone, stop listening to my radio show. I don't need hormones. Okay? Maybe my co-host does. I don't. So stop sending me these emails from your hormone companies. All right, go ahead. Question 2.
I think maybe it's just that you're a 48-year-old man. Like, that feels like a pretty good demo. For
wasn't getting them before Thursday, whatever that was. Ridiculous.
I just want y'all to know that people at the game was talking about Big T and Little T.
Were they? Gee, why are you here? Where did you come from? All of a sudden, I'm hearing G's voice.
I was coming to say
people
good
at the
morning.
game, do you mean you?
Oh, no.
Salk, when you're not here, I miss you, bro.
So you just come in and hang out in the studio where I'm not?
I mean, I like Mara, I like Lyle, these guys, but, I know you're there getting ready.
LabCorp.
Interview.
LabCorp. Feeling funky? It might be your hormones. Yeah, I wasn't getting that from LabCorp before our Thursday 8:30 segment. Are you getting them on your phone at least?
Nope.
Salk, are you getting them?
No, I'm not getting anything like that. Sure seems like a Brock Hewitt issue to me. I don't know.
Ridiculous.
Brock, is this you searching this stuff, or is this your wife searching? Because I know
I get it from Brock. I don't need to get it from my phone. Brock is
these are
already asking me.
emails that I am getting. Stop listening to my
All right.
show.
G, go away. Brock,
question
two. For
See,
you.
guys.
See.
Are the Seahawks deep enough to withstand some of the losses they've incurred? Because they are getting beat up a little bit. And if Leonard Williams can't go this week, if Byron Murphy can't go this week, are they deep enough to withstand some of the just the amount of injuries that are starting to
how this works, man. You know how this works. Were you able to withstand Abe Lucas? Yeah. Because you purposely built some redundancy in there. You knew that he wouldn't be available, so you signed a veteran in George Vance. He can't make it a first half. He goes on IR over the weekend, meaning he's going to be out for the next 3 games at least before he can come back. So now you're on Stone Forsythe. Now McClendon Curtis comes off your practice squad. You're 1 injury away, Salk, on the right side of that line. And my God, okay, I'll get to Bradford in takeaways, but you know how this works. So you can withstand one. You could withstand Leonard, as much as you hate that, because I think he's one of the most irreplaceable guys on this roster with all he can do. But then 2, and now you're putting Hankins in there for more snaps, and more guys are having to play more snaps. It starts to.
I saw a lot of Mike Morris in there yesterday.
You did, and he was solid.
Yeah,
he was solid. But it starts to, you know where you want Mike Morris. You want him playing like 10 snaps a game, not 30 or 40. You know where you want Big Hank playing about 15 snaps a game, not 30 or 40. You know where you want Jaron Reed 10 years in, about 30 snaps, not 40 to 50. So it starts to, man, it's like a bullpen, right? You start to put guys in leverage situations or pitch more innings, and you start running into some problems.
Well, and even more than that, what does that look like, as we said, sort of to combine these two questions when you end up taking on Detroit? It's one thing against the Dolphins, it's another thing against Penei Sewell and the rest of the guys in that Detroit offensive line.
Yeah, honestly, it feels like going into the Mariners season where you have Santos and you have Brash and you have all of these guys that you're like, ooh, okay, I like this. Going into it, and I like having Murphy. I like having Leo. I like having Hank. I like having Jaron Reed. I like having Dre Jones. I like having all these edge guys. Well, take away Uchenna. Now, we'll see with Leonard and unfortunately Byron. You take away now some of your leverage pieces. Yeah, it just burdens everybody else, and it absolutely stress tests you.
Where is Dre Jones at? I mean, I know he lost weight to
nice
play
game,
outside.
Man.
He did. Can he move back inside, or
In
is
spots.
he now kind of too
light?
Small to do that?
No, I think in spots and in certainly like nickel situations or, any kind of passing situation, you actually love to have him in there. So you can mix the match a little bit on early downs. If you're getting heavy run, that's probably not an ideal situation as he's cut, as you mentioned, a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
All right, question 3.
Can this offensive line figure it out? Can this offensive line coalesce? Can they play well enough to beat good teams?
Oh, man.
I mean, it's honestly, Brock, watching this team through the first couple weeks of the season, it's the only glaring weakness.
Yep.
I mean,
Agreed.
I'm not saying they're perfect in every other part of the game.
Correct.
But there is no other glaring weakness on this team.
Correct.
Every other position group has been somewhere between solid and excellent, except for the offensive line.
Agreed.
So can this offensive line figure it out? Can they coalesce? Can they be at least solid for the rest of this season?
Well, you've said this a bunch of times, and I think an area I feel comfortable is that Connor Williams is going to, if he stays healthy, continue to get better over the course of the season. There's going to be just more time on task, right? There were no OTAs. There was no training camp. He's coming off the ACL midseason last year. So you think there's a track record that would tell you that, hey, man, he's going to continue to grow and get better. And there were plays that were awesome. There were plays with great movement. He's a pretty good run blocker. And then obviously there's a play that he just gets flat out beat, and there's a holding call. And, holds are kind of like sacks. Right? I know Warren Sharp had that great number about, hey, man, you get a sack, 1 sack on a drive, and what does that do to your scoring abilities? Well, what does one holding call do? You know, what is starting at first and 20? It's like starting an 0-2 count. Like, it's really hard to overcome those things. So I think Connor's going to get better. I sure hope Abe Lucas is going to be returning, and I don't know, week 6, week 7.
It didn't sound that way talking to Brady on Friday when you were out. I mean, the two things Brady said: one, he didn't expect Abe Lucas until midseason, and two, they were pretty happy with what they've gotten from Stone Forsythe. Those were Brady's sort of two.
Stone has been solid, and I thought he was solid yesterday again. You know, especially in pass pro, he gets that huge frame, and as long as he doesn't get bull rushed and get blown back into, the dude is massive at 6'7" to 6'8" to get around. But no, Brady did talk about week 7, week 8, kind of mid-season, right? You got to sit 2 weeks of practice, and then there's a bye. So, you know, that's 4+ weeks away. That would sure be nice. Fant would be about the same time. But your right guard, man, I don't know. I really, like, I think I even tweeted after, I don't know, his 5th penalty yesterday. Like, what are we doing? And I go back to what Big Ray said last week so well. Be purposeful. Have intent with what you're doing. Bradford has just a half dozen plays a game where he doesn't have any of that. And it's a false start, and it's a false start, and there's a hold, and there's a hold. And those are just killers. And I loved how the camera, like multiple times yesterday, zoomed over to McDonald. It seemed like only on Bradford's penalties did they zoom over to him. And you could see he was kind of just like chomping at it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that also tells you that Haynes is not that close. Right? Like, if they continue to run him out for every series, what is Haynes doing, A, during a practice week, or B, that they feel like, yeah, man, we're just gonna keep rolling with this guy, even if there's negative play. Are
there enough positive plays on the
There must be.
I mean, like, I did see him in one of the running plays just demolish somebody.
Yes.
I mean, there's got to be some up and down with Bradford, right?
There has to be.
Where you say, okay, yeah, the glaring glaring problems are exactly that. But when he's not screwing up, he is moving people.
Yeah, because he's massive.
He's a big dude.
I mean, him and Forsythe are just massive guys. And remember where Mike came from the last 10 years. I mean, Baltimore is chock full of just massive physical human beings that can move people in the run game. But as you're seeing with DK and Jackson and Tyler and these tight ends, passing game, pretty good. Geno right now operating, save for a couple picks, really, really well. So, yeah, I think that is I think that's fair, that everything else is B+ or more.
I mean, everything else has been at the very least solid. Every position group, right? Running backs have been fine. Your wide receivers have been better than that. Your tight ends certainly haven't been problematic. In parts, they've been really good. Mm-hmm. Defensive line's been great. Outside linebackers have been great. Inside linebackers have been awesome. The secondary's phenomenal, probably the best part of the team. The special teams have been good. Kick returns, punt returns, kicks, everything. It's all been really good.
Yep.
Except the offensive line, just this one glaring thing. And they don't need to be the best in the league, but they got to be good enough if this team wants to keep this up over the course of the season. All right, from my 3 questions to 3 more, we call Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
All right, Brock, 3 good football questions. Let's start with this one. We mentioned the running backs, and without Ken Walker in there, it's once again all Charbonnet. I think Kenny McIntosh had, 1 carry or something like that?
At the very end. Did he get a couple?
Yeah, but there was one that was called back on a whole. I mean, it was mostly the Charbonnet show once again. How come?
Because he has total trust of the staff. 18 carries, 91 yards, an absolute closer. 3 more receptions, 16 yards, great in pass protection. So, I mean, your true 3-down back. Not a guy that's got to come off the field. He catches it tremendously well. He pass protects. And one of the refrains when he was coming out of school, remember that nickname, the Terminator, because this dude could just go forever. He just had an energy level and a stamina that was unique and different than all of his peers there at UCLA in workouts and conditioning tests and practice and training camp. The dude just does not tire. And I was watching him after, even a couple of those runs on that final drive. I'm like, okay, come out. He's going to come out now, right? There's an 8-yarder, there's a 10-yard. Nope. And that next one, he ran just as hard as that previous one. So Dude's output, which they measure, is in energy level is just tremendous. His work rate, tremendous. And then I think it has to come down to trust. That Greb and staff and Huff, like, yeah, man, this guy knows every protection. He knows every route. And we're not going to take him off the field. And, man, it's super, super impressive yesterday for sure.
All right, question number 2. 11 penalties yesterday for the Seahawks, and they've had a lot of them so far this year. What's going on with all the penalties?
Yeah, self-inflicted negatives. Too many sins, as Chris Peterson would tell you. And those pre-snap ones, Salk, oh my gosh, do they get you. Trent Green even said it, like, hey, man, we're going to double cadence here. I'm not even going to give you a play. You know, we used to call that with Peyton Manning ice cream. Ice cream, ice cream. You get in the huddle, like muddle huddle, right? And you saw this a bunch yesterday. Hey, ice cream, ice cream. You know why you call it ice cream? You're frozen. You don't move. There's not even a play to run. Just get up there, get in position, and I'm going to hard count and get them to declare what they're doing, and then we're going to get to our play. And when you jump off sides on an ice cream sandwich, you want to talk about infuriating. Like that can't happen. So that's mental errors. And then the other thing on a bunch of these holds with Connor and with Bradford, you're just not moving your feet. And whether that is some conditioning level, whether it is just, hey, man, still for Connor coming back, getting 100%, for Bradford, still a weight issue, a stamina issue to play every play, like you gotta move. Get your big body in front of people and stop reaching and stop grabbing and stop holding, because these negative plays are killing our drives. Just stay on schedule. You stay on schedule, guess what, man? There's Noah Fant. There's Jackson. There's Tyler. There's DK. There's a run. Just stay on schedule. But when you have all these negative plays, man, it just totally imploded 2 or 3 drives, and both mental errors, and I think that just moving your feet stamina-wise been 2 big issues.
All right, question number 3. I know you like making these comps. So, Cougs and Beavs, what do they have in common with the Hawks?
A little bit of what you talked about with Jake Dickert. And you could say the same thing about Bray down there at Oregon State, Salk, to keep teams together amidst all the chaos in flux. A little different in professional football because there's 7 coaching changes a year. So it's not like the Seahawks and Mike McDonald, and especially with the stability of Schneider and everybody upstairs staying there, way more structure than what you saw in Pullman and Corvallis with the upheaval and all the transfers and everything else. But it struck me. You know, maybe, this will be a McDonald or a deeper conversation this week. It strikes me that this is a window of time in like the cycle of contracts that's perfect. Remember what happened? It wasn't just the Super Bowl run. It wasn't just guys getting older. I think there's something to guys getting weird when they get paid. Mm-hmm. And we saw that with some of those dudes. That credit pie starts to get really hard to slice when guys get paid and feel like, hey, man, now put some respect on me. I got my contract, and now it's a little different deal. Seahawks are in a pretty good spot, Salk. A little bit like those Cougs and Beavers that are just flat out hungry. Who's gotten paid? I mean not seriously.
Paid. I mean, they've got guys who are making money.
They got guys making money, but like your safeties are, yeah, man, they're not making $18 million a year, right? They're getting paid and producing. Leonard got paid, but that doesn't affect him. He's gotten paid before. Like, you got guys like Woolen and Spoon and Cross and Walker and guys just hungry. Boye, just hungry. Like, in the cycle of contracts, in the cycle of salary cap, in the cycle of like where you are, this is a super sweet spot of just incentive, getting my money, proving, the respect that I deserve around the league. And, it's not the main impetus for these guys. They love to play. But I think it's a pretty cool little sweet spot you find yourself in as well.
Point. All right, there you go. That is today's Blue 88. Lots of football conversation this morning. I mentioned Boye there. What a start for him. I mean, Daniel Jeremiah saying he wants Boye Mafe superstar stock. We didn't get to talk to DJ last week because he had some family stuff and a whole bunch of stuff came together. We'll talk to him on Wednesday. But Boye affects every game he's in.
Yeah, and right? I know you're sitting on big knees and big thighs and short
I'm excited to talk Derek Hall, but I'm not under.
By the way, did you see his truck?
Derek Hall's?
Yes.
No.
You haven't seen his trucks?
No.
I don't know where and why this popped up on my phone. Like, these freaking hormone emails are now popping up on my phone. But there was something on social, Dude's truck is like a monster truck.
Really?
You couldn't get in it, Salk.
Yeah, look
I
at
mean, no
this
offense to you. Like, the average man is not getting in that thing.
That thing is like, you got to be up like 8 feet tall just to get in.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, and I guess he's got a buddy, and it's a big thing down in Mississippi where he's from, and out on the beach, he got all sorts of stuff he grew up with, and that's really cool. And with his NIL at Auburn, he kind of got his first one all tricked out, and now, I mean, how do you drive that thing into the, I guess all the construction down by the VMAX a good thing?
Yeah.
Maybe he just goes off road on 405 and just cuts over.
Yeah, I'm looking at that thing now.
Yes.
Big knees, big butt, and big truck, apparently.
And big power off the edge between he and Mafe, awesome. Man.
We're going to talk about him because of the improvement level at 8:30. But Boye, wow.
Yep.
I mean, like, he is game-wrecking. He is using that speed, using that strength, using that body, and he's playing about as well at that position as you could possibly ask him to do. All right. We will get back to the football, I promise. 8:30, we have takeaways. 9:30, we will have Coach McDonald to join us for now the third Mike McDonald show, which I'm looking forward to. We are going to spend a few minutes talking baseball. The Mariners were almost there, Brock, and it was almost all because of one guy.
Almost.
That's next.
Almost.
This is Seattle Sports.
Throw deep, got DK open, touchdown, Seahawks, a 71-yarder to DK.
DK was able to get behind him. I thought the protection was great. Allowed us that extra second we needed to get the ball downfield. That was a big play for us.
Down to the one, he's in, touchdown, Seahawks, Zach Charbonnet.
With the type of defense that we have on our team, I mean, it just gives us the utmost confidence to go out there and just play free.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's majestic golden eagles and other less majestic birds taunting you through the baseball-sized hole in your new windows. It's soaring guitar solos performed through faulty wiring in your garage, which subsequently erupts into flames. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Rick Riz here with a big thank you to everyone who submitted a nomination for Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program.
Thanks, Rick. This is Elisa with Pella Windows and Doors. With so many amazing entries, we decided to award 2 additional teams with $2,500 prizes. We are so excited to announce Warren Avenue Knights Pee Wee Football and Ferndale Cal Ripken Baseball.
Thanks to you and Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington for helping our local youth thrive.
I started Davis Law Group 30 years ago with the goal of bringing the highest quality of legal representation to accident victims. Seattle has changed a lot in that time, and the needs of drivers and accident victims have grown. I'm happy to say that we have too. We've expanded our team to take on the biggest challenges for accident victims across the state. Contact Washington's best personal injury team today at 206-888-8888 or visit us online at davislawgroupseattle.com.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. Majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back, I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Allshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Everybody knows home is where the heart is. But for the Mariners, home is where thousands of hearts come together all season long. It's also where the no-fly zone is.
Julio Jones makes the catch.
Where that barehander beyond belief is.
Rojas, barehand play for him, the stretch, and they got him again!
It's where the never give up, no matter what inning it is.
Luke Riley does it again! The Mariners are right back in it!
And where 100-plus mile-an-hour game-over magic is.
Julio strikes out the side, and the ball game is over.
It's T-Mobile Park, where Seattle is. Mariners baseball, Trident's up.
Catch the final series of the regular season this weekend at T-Mobile Park. Cal Raleigh and the Mariners are taking on the A's in a 3-game set, featuring Fan Appreciation Fireworks Night this Friday at 7:10, presented by T-Mobile, and Kids Appreciation Day this Sunday at 12:10, presented by Optum. Get your tickets today at Mariners.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Thompson sets, stops, looks, gets hit, goes down, Derek Hall, and he is there to add to his sack total.
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks.
This hour is brought to you by Amazon Hub Delivery.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke Eward. And Brooke Eward.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
253 says noted truck guy Mike Salk. No, I'm not. Not going to pretend. I'm not a noted truck guy.
I mean, there was that one time where you rented a truck and then left it running the entire concert at Coachella.
Yeah, I did briefly, yeah.
Well, that wasn't really a truck.
Oh, it was a truck.
No, it was a tiny, little Nissan two-door.
That was a manly truck. Bro.
No, it was not.
That was one of the more manly trucks I've ever driven.
You couldn't even put one of those lift packages on that thing. No chance.
You go to put the lift package on and it just says, no, this doesn't fit on this, sir. What are you doing? Get this thing off of me. I'm not that kind of truck.
Yep.
Julio went nuts this weekend, huh? Especially Friday and Saturday.
How about this guy?
Julio was, we said from the beginning, you kind of are, this team will go as Julio goes. And when he hits like that, they certainly play and look like a completely different team.
Yes. So why? How? Why? I think, unfortunately, I've cut down on many of those things. I think Benetti's gotten in my head a little bit.
Typical.
Hasn't this been 3 months of some pretty good baseball for Julio? I know that was
quite like that.
No, obviously, but I think a lot of people want to point to Edgar and Dan, and I know you had a fun conversation on Friday that I missed. I would have loved to have been a part of.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people kind of pointing to those two. Lyle, is this an Edgar and a Dan thing, or was he actually kind of heating up even before that happened?
Yeah, I do wonder what it would have looked like if he hadn't gotten hurt when he did. Just because he was starting to heat up before that injury. Mm-hmm. And then the injury derailed him a little bit. And obviously he was on the sidelines for a few weeks. And that was before Edgar and Dan took over.
Right.
So I think they deserve some credit. I think Edgar deserves some credit here. But all of it, I don't know.
Does he look more balanced to you? Like, is he falling into the batter's box, the other side of the batter's box, as he was for huge chunks and swaths of this season?
A lot less now than he was before.
And some of that he's hitting the ball, right? Some of that is he's making contact.
When you hit the ball, it's a lot easier to not fall over into the. He's swinging less. He's hitting the ball more. He's obviously hitting better. Is some of that due to his guy who came up to visit him, Oswaldo Diaz? Yes, probably, and some of the changes they made and confidence, et cetera. Is some of it due to Edgar? Probably. I believe Edgar noticed something with Julio's hands and changed the positioning, and that seems to have helped key him as well. Yeah. And good. That's important, and anything you can do to get a guy like that
using
right,
the entirety of the field, right?
Yep.
I mean, that was a big
Which he does
impetus.
Naturally, right?
He does.
I mean, he sort of naturally does that.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know which. Maybe it's just hot and cold, and sometimes that happens for guys like Julio, and he's kind of shown that over the course of his career that he's got moments of red hotness and he's got moments of ice blue cold where he is not even the same. Doesn't even look like the same human in the batter's box. I don't know. Was it connected to whatever went down on Wednesday and Thursday? Who knows? But this team is always supposed to go as Julio does. When he hits like that, the offense is better.
There is just there's no question about that, and you need your stars and your superstars, and you have I think a sense of urgency as well. Like these guys' backs are clearly against the wall. They know what they got to do. They're still alive because these Twins and these Royals just continue to fall on such hard times.
Especially the Twins. How do you go out as Minnesota and get blown out by the Red Sox in both games of a doubleheader yesterday?
Yeah, good question.
I mean, that is some hideous baseball they're playing. And if you look at it, what's the difference right now for the Mariners? It's the games against Detroit.
Yep.
And it's funny
because Minnesota largely outplayed you. I remember watching those Minnesota series. I was at a couple of those games, and I was like, yeah, I mean, that lineup just took advantage, and Correa did some stuff that you couldn't hit them. They're pitching, they're bullpen. Like, they were playing great. Like, they legitimately took those series from you.
It didn't feel like you deserved to win those games.
No. Detroit?
You had every opportunity.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, you lost 5 of the 6. You probably
They had lost, remember? They had lost like 8 of 9. They had sold at the deadline. And you were really the turning point for their second half of this season.
Like you and getting Kerry Carpenter back. I mean, I think both of those things played a role. They happened to coincide. Carpenter showed up while you were playing them and went nuts during that series, and that certainly has helped them. But the walk-off losses, the failures in big spots in those series, if you flip 2 of those games and go 3-3 against Detroit, you're tied for the wild card right now. And, on the other hand, do the losses to Detroit look a lot less awful knowing what they've done over the last couple of months now?
Yep. And does A.J. Hinch and that organization deserve some real credit for what they have done from an ingenuity standpoint, Salk, and what they have done basically with 2 starters? I mean, we'll talk to Passon about this tomorrow, but you've rolled out your 5 guys basically all season long other than the stretch with Wu. I mean, outside of that, it is in, I guess, Luis now. But, I mean, you've kind of rolled your horses out there, and they've done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Remember that Detroit series? They had 2 starters. I don't even think you saw Skubal up here in Seattle. Maybe you did.
You did. Saw him both times.
Yep.
And they got the raw end a little bit. They saw Skubal twice. They saw the other guy. They did as much as Detroit doesn't have a lot. The Mariners saw what they do have, but they should have won a few more of those games. And unfortunately, because of it, now you're in this spot. Here's 2 other thoughts on the Mariners. 1. It's going to come down to how you perform against Houston, and that's kind of how it should be, right? If you and obviously you need help as well, but if you can go to Houston and knock off the Astros and at least win 2 out of 3, maybe all 3, that's kind of where it should be. They've been the measuring stick in this division, and you got to beat them at least twice in their building and then hope for some help. So that is kind of the way it should be.
Yeah. Albeit a Houston team that is not what they've been in the past.
No, but don't you have to beat them in order to get by them?
100%.
Right. And they're in all likelihood not going to pass them for the division.
Nope.
But even to win the wild card, you need to go beat Houston. You need to have success in that building in a big spot, and that's kind of the way it should be.
I totally agree. And it looks like it will probably be without Alvarez, Altuve that's not back to 100%. And Tucker, who is now back, which should help them in their kind of playoff run and everything else. But, yeah, I mean, it's been a compromised Houston team. They have lost a bunch of starters this year, and, a bunch of their regulars have been banged up over the course of the season. You didn't capitalize, right? You didn't take, advantage of that earlier this season. But, yeah, I mean, now here you go. Here's a 3-game set. Obviously, got to win it. More than likely, got to sweep it, realistically, if you're going to find a way. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. One other point I wanted to make, and I found myself thinking about this a lot on Saturday watching Emerson Hancock. So he was pretty good. Wasn't perfect, but gave you a chance to win. 5 innings, only allowed 2 runs, pitching on the road in Texas against a pretty good lineup. And you just start looking at it going, how long do you want Emerson Hancock in your system, not at the big league level? Right? He's 25 years old, but this is his year 24 season. Next year is he turned 25 at the end of May. So really next year is his age 25 season. He's kind of getting to the point now at that age where you say, all right, there's not really anything left for him to prove in the minor leagues.
Yeah, he's dominated AAA. He's a 5th starter in Major League Baseball.
That's what, at least, right? Or maybe not, but you're at a time where you've got to find out. He's at a time in his career where pitching in the minor leagues is a waste of his time, a waste of his talent. So in this offseason, you would think either Emerson Hancock gets dealt for somebody who is ready to make him an everyday starter or an every 5-day starter, or you're going to make him a starter and deal one of the pitchers you've got.
That's right.
And I know what Passan said last week, I'm not going to make that determination based on a couple of starts at the end of the year. I am. And it's not just on that. It's based on what he did at AAA this year.
That's what he did at the start of the season. Yes.
This guy's a major league starter, or he's not, but it's time to find out. And I know you need more than 5. In order to do it, you've got to either assume that, one of the guys, Logan Evans or somebody in your minor leagues is ready to assume that 6th starter mantle, or you need to go out in the offseason and bring in your version of Tyler Anderson from a few years ago or somebody else who you trust to be a swing guy. Like, you've got to do that in order to make it happen because the chances of going with 5 starters all year is absurd. It doesn't happen. But it's kind of time to find out. Either Emerson Hancock's one of your 5 or he's one of somebody else's 5. You got to get more value for that than what you're getting.
Fisher cut bait. Let's go. Let's go.
He's from Georgia. He'd probably appreciate that. He probably fishes and cuts bait. We'll give you some Seahawks takeaways coming up in 20 after everything you need to know next. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
This is Seattle Sports.
Thompson sets, stops, looks, gets hit, goes down. Derek Hall comes around the corner, and he is there to add to his sack total.
On defense side of the ball, we're just trying to come out, be resilient, start fast, keep going, and finish the game. And I think we did that really, really well today.
Gino from the shotgun, hands up to Charbonnet, left side. He's in. Touchdown, Seahawks.
I thought we took a step forward today. It's a great win. I mean, it's awesome to be 3-0, but obviously we got a big one coming up too. So
we are the home of the Seahawks.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing since 1917.
Hey everyone, Rick Witters, owner of Cressy Door. If you're in the market for new garage doors, our expert staff is ready to help. Cressy Door has been offering quality service since 1952.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
Eddie's!
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more, so you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit fcifloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
Y'all want to hear about the AARP auto insurance program from the Hartford? Well, if you're age 50 or over, you can save hundreds when you switch. Are you ready for some exclusive discounts too? Phone's in the air now. We're going to sign you up, baby. Go to visithartfordauto.com today for your free quote.
When you're with the Hartford, the Bucks got your back. Provided by Hartford Fire Insurance Company, not AARP or its affiliates. Individual savings vary. The Hartford pays a royalty fee to AARP, which is used for its general purposes. For information and restrictions, go to thehartford.com.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog. Because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
This is Seattle Sports.
Gino from the shotgun, hands it to Charbonnet, left side, he's in! Touchdown! Seahawks!
The home of the Seahawks.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 10/13/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Now, ring the alarm. The Seahawks are 3-0. Another victory yesterday. They've won 2 at home, 1 on the road. And oh, by the way, the rest of the division is all 1-2. What a start for this season. What a start for the career of Mike McDonald. I know nothing gets finished in the first 3 games of the season, but they've accomplished everything they could possibly do. Not pretty yesterday. 22 penalties in the game, 11 of those on the Seahawks, but they dominated. They really did. The defense didn't allow a touchdown. They only allowed 1 field goal. It came on a drive in which the Dolphins got the ball on the 4 and moved it a grand total of 2 yards. They sacked the quarterback 6 times. They had 12 hits on the quarterbacks. They knocked one of them out. They had 7 tackles in the backfield. I mean, that's exactly what you want from a dominant defensive football team. And the offense, they did more than enough as well. 91 yards for Zach Charbonnet and DK Metcalf getting over 100 for the 2nd straight week. Much of it right here on Cut 1.
Gino out of the shotgun. McIntosh in the game, and now he swings out to the left side. Gino steps up in the pocket, looks, holds, throws deep, got DK open, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, runs away from Miami. Touchdown, Seahawks! A 71-yarder to DK. Gino waited, great route, and then DK just popped into the secondary open. Gino laid it up there, and the secondary never had a chance to catch DK.
We called that 54X cross and go back in the day. And DK gave away a little state secrets yesterday. It was awesome. Actually, Gino did, not DK. I'm sorry, DK, not you. The quarterback did as he was describing that play when asked about it in the presser yesterday, Salk. And back in the day, we called that. And the problem with calling it is if the safety is deep, it's a dead play. But how do they do it in this day and age? How have they innovated over time? That's a dual read. And it's why Gino, if you watch that play, has to sit on it for just a second. He needs that extra time. He got great protection on that play because that's all on DK to read, is he's making that 15-yard in cut if that safety is right on top of him and he feels like he can make that sudden double move, Salk. It's like a slant and go, but this is a cross and go. That's on DK to read. And then it's on Gino to see it and then be on the same exact page, which they were, and that's how explosive plays happen in the NFL. I love the situational football yesterday. I'm going to ask McDonald about it in an hour. I mean, to hold Miami to 1 of 15 on 3rd and 4th down in the NFL. This is the NFL. To hold a team to 1 of 15 and then 2 shots in the red zone from inside the 5-yard line, and you hold them, well, to a field goal and nothing. I give you a hard time, Salky, about your stripes. I give you a hard time about some things that your hormones. I won't give you a hard time about this. Our first interview with McDonald, you're like, man, you guys do a lot of red zone work, huh? I've been out here training camp and watching a lot of situational, a lot of red zone work. And what did he say then? Like, yeah, man, that's where games are won or lost in the NFL. Yep. Played a big role of many contributing factors yesterday.
I would say that's true. He seemed pretty happy afterwards. Cut 4. He likes the progress his team is making.
I thought we took a step forward today. The run game, I think they popped a couple runs, but overall I thought we tackled very, very well. Didn't feel like the catch and run stuff. I mean, it's such a dangerous team. The usual suspects, when they get their hands on the ball, you gotta take great angles. You need inside out pursuit. You gotta set the edge. I thought our front played incredibly hard, getting to the ball with a sense of urgency, which was really, really fun to watch and be part of.
We'll talk to him coming up just over an hour from now. He probably won't tell us more about Leonard Williams nor Byron Murphy. Both left the game with injuries and did not return. Rams come from behind to beat the Niners late. That was crazy. Cardinals lose to Detroit. Seahawks will be in Detroit on Monday night.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
2 Series, 6 games left for the Mariners, and it starts tonight in Houston. They nearly came away with a sweep in Texas, but it was not to be. A blowout win Friday, blowout win Saturday. Julio just absurd in both of those games. And then it's 5-0 yesterday. You feel like you're in good shape for a sweep. Never assume anything. Texas comes roaring back. They walk it off with a Marcus Semien single. Mariners cannot get it done. Off to Houston, which is not going to be an easy spot to play. Cut 8. Dan Wilson's ready.
It's not a friendly environment for us. So we just go in there and we just have to continue to play our type of baseball, which is has been good. It's been very good offensively and on the mound. We've done it all year. So it's going to be interesting to see it from a different perspective, as you mentioned. But I think the challenge for us is just to continue to do what we've been doing.
You asked me 3 questions in the 7:30 hour there, Salky, about these Seahawks. I think we will eventually do a whole lot of that, right, when this Mariners season ends and really try to look back and compare and contrast and the sample size of, the new, manager and the new hitting coach and new philosophies versus the previous. I think it is clear what has jumped out to me is the aggressiveness. The aggressiveness on the base pass, right, and for better or for worse, right? I mean, it leads to some things and some outs and some challenges, but it also makes some things happen. And then some of the situation, like if they're going to win this series, you already know it. Can you situationally hit or not? Are you going to get guys home from third? The amount of sack flies they've had is real under this regime. Like they've executed in some of those areas really well, but going to have to be on point. A series win would be nice, but it feels like a series sweep is a must.
Yeah, probably. Detroit has just been red hot. They've moved into a tie now with Kansas City for the second and third wild card spots. So you really have two spots.
Detroit?
For
I think
teams.
Detroit's now ahead of Minnesota, by the way.
I said Kansas City. They're
I'm
tied
sorry.
with Kansas City.
Yep.
Minnesota keeps losing. They're tied with the Mariners 2 games back.
Yep.
But again, the Mariners lose a tiebreaker to all 3 of those teams. So you got to make up 3 games with 6 to play. Mariners will be at Houston. Kansas City has Washington. Detroit has Tampa. Minnesota has Miami.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
And the Huskies and Cougs both win. For the Huskies, it was pretty rote. They just sort of dominated a Northwestern team that's not very good.
Bad.
Yeah, I mean,
but old Belichick's done some things now. Washington Wednesday this week going to be a little fun, Salk. Like, I know it's 4 games, but 4 games in college football is a lot more than 3 or 4 games in the NFL. Like, 12-game season and third of the way through here, and now you got to go out on the road, and the next 3 or 4 are on the road. But Belichick's defense, I was looking at some run defense numbers, third down defense numbers, some stuff that he's doing, and they had a camera on him the other day on a roughing the passer, and it was so good.
I saw Pete was at the game the other day, too. I saw Pete looking good and showing up. And
Pete always looks
hanging
good.
out. I know. It's really obnoxious. Cougs win as well. So they move up to number 26, essentially. They were the top team also receiving votes, but they play number 25 this weekend, play Boise State.
Yep.
So you get an opportunity to move into the top.
That's going to get real. Yeah, that's going to be a fun
an
one.
Incredible deal.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm blown away by it.
Yes.
I really am blown away. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, when your conference deserts you, when, now he didn't have.
Deserts you. Everybody deserted you.
Yes. But a lot of the players didn't.
Right.
And that's a big key to it. And then there were a bunch, looking at their roster that they got, and you do get these guys that are just like, hey, man, I'm with you. I got nowhere else to go. Programs I've been at didn't want me. And you got a bunch of nobody wanted us. It's like Major League come to life, like for real. And when that ship gets going the right way and the confidence and the belief in one another, the love for one another starts to develop, neat things happen. But Boise will be a tremendous, tremendous test for them this weekend.
All right, that is everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. We got takeaways coming up next. And Brock, there is one takeaway that I am most excited for. I can't wait to talk about this person based on the journey. It's next on Brock and Salk.
This is Seattle Sports.
Throw deep, got DK open, touchdown! Seahawks, a 71-yarder to DK.
DK was able to get behind him. I thought the protection was great. Allowed us that extra second we needed to get the ball downfield. That was a big play for us.
Down to the 1, he's in! Touchdown! Seahawks, Zach Charbonnet!
With the type of defense that we have on our team, it just gives us the utmost confidence to go out there and just play free.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
All right, are you a customer with Puget Sound Energy? And do you have some issues in your attic or your crawl space? If those 2 things are true, then you may be in for a really, really great deal. Crawl Pros has partnered with Puget Sound Energy to provide special rebates on insulation work. So if you're a PSC customer and your home was built before 1990, you just might qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space or attic. And look, this is the time to be thinking about it, right? The temperatures are dropping. Oh yeah, the rats and mice and other rodents, they're looking for a cozy spot to reproduce. If they do it in your home, they could end up destroying the insulation you have. And now your heating bills are going up, which is why PSC is even involved in this to begin with. Take advantage of these enormous rebates today. Call Crawl Pros and learn what's going on behind that crawl space or attic hatch for free, and learn what energy rebates you might be eligible for. Call Crawl Pros now before the cold, wet weather really sets in. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
This is Seattle Sports.
Got DK open. Touchdown! Seahawks! A 71-yarder to DK.
The home of the Seahawks.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. Most guys don't realize that their ED started in their 40s. Symptoms of erectile dysfunction can be slight and subtle, but by treating your symptoms at the onset, you can avoid severe ED in the future. Mild ED is easily reversed at our clinic using our acoustic wave technology. Most men have accepted that ED is a part of getting older, but that's far from the truth. Our acoustic wave therapy has helped thousands of men restore function, whether they're in their 40s or their 80s. West Coast Men's Health also treats chronic pain, including neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, Dupuytren's contracture, and even carpal tunnel. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
And this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Lonnie. Lonnie, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
We've been with the same insurance company for over 32 years. And my husband said, come on, let's at least try it. And that was the smartest thing we ever did because we save thousands, literally thousands a year on our insurance. They improved it. It cost me less, and it was a higher value. You know, I can't say enough good things about Scott because everything that he said he'd do, he did.
What do you tell your friends they can expect when they make the call to First Mark?
An easy, profitable, and actually pleasant call. They genuinely are trying to help you, and you can't beat that. We were silly to wait so long. A couple other friends that have called, too, they said, why didn't you tell us about this sooner?
You see, Lonnie did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
This hour is brought to you by Amazon Hub Delivery.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, we roll on here with with Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. 1 hour from now, Brock, Mike McDonald will join us for the Mike McDonald Show. He does not like that name. It's very clear. He gets a very uncomfortable look in his face and sort of laughs uncomfortably every time he hears the name of the show.
Yeah.
But he'll do it, and he'll be here an hour from now to talk about his third straight win as the Seahawks head coach. We watched it, we had observations, and we're ready to tell you all about them.
Takeaways.
Oh, man. Where do we begin? I'm going to start with DK, Salt.
Okay.
I think DK, we talked a lot about him this offseason. We talked a lot about him in training camp. We talked about him on that most irreplaceable list. He's got to ratchet up on that list. 3 weeks into the season, as you just kind of look at personnel and you look at the entirety of the roster, he is what I used to in the early days of Brock and Salk talk about all the time.
A receiver who, what was the phrase you used to use?
Come on.
Basically that the defense had to prepare for.
Yeah.
What was the phrase?
I forget.
Oh, what? I'll remember it then.
I was really hoping that you would remember.
Oh, you used to talk about it all the time.
Yes, but he's a number one, and that other defense is scared to death of him, right? And they have to prepare. They have to roll over Marvin Harrison. So no matter what we saw with the Colts every single week in tendency, maybe save for the Patriots, everybody else would just roll over the top, play cover two, half the field with Marvin. Like, even if that wasn't necessarily their game, they dictate, right? He dictates. And more importantly than, even the production on the field, I think there truly are like 3 ways that he is really grown. Number one, his change of direction is better. That little double move, there was no slowing down. He's always been a skinny post. He's always been a go route. He's always been what Pete Carroll talked about as just like a power strider. And get him moving is like a 100-meter runner. Like, dude, is unbelievable. But change of direction, getting in and out. And I love that double move yesterday, man. He did all of that at full speed. That was awesome. Number 2, his emotional just maturity. Jalen Ramsey didn't get him yesterday. He tried to, right? He tried to give him a little tap here, a little push there, and certainly they got in a shoving match, and he got an OPI, but he went and talked to the official about it later in the game, just kind of bodied him up, kind of learned from that. There was just an emotional maturity that in the past, I don't know if we would have seen that against a Jalen Ramsey. And then lastly, it just feels like, and it's easier with success, it just feels like in listening to him every week, there's more ownership. Like, I get it. Kind of get where I'm at. Ownership even in training camp, with not a great deal. Swinging and fighting, and you kind of own that in that moment. And it feels like there has just been some growth in some of the ownership. So, I don't know, man. You redo that irreplaceable Seahawk list now 3 games into the season, DK is going to be way up there, man.
Yeah, he's certainly playing like a guy who wants to be in the top tier of wide receivers in this game, and he was one of my takeaways as well. A phenomenal start to the season for him. He's also made a bunch more of those plays, especially in the last 2 weeks, that the top receivers make.
Yep.
The touchdown is like him in a nutshell, but how about the catch on the sideline that showed his physicality, where he just kind of went up and got it?
And his
Pretty
hands.
darn cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and are the hands ever going to be great? They're probably never going to be elite, but when you make plays like that, you get to chalk it up in the improvement category, and that's a great place to be for DK.
Gosh, I would have loved to have seen, after he caught that double move, you still had the corner chasing, and you had the other safety that was in a half field, right? You had 2 guys there. I would have loved to have seen his burst, his miles per hour, compared to you in the first 100 meters of your 200-meter race. I'm dead serious.
No, you
Before you shifted gears and popped it.
That's enough.
Like, Saul, when you went 4th to 5th.
That is enough. I'm done with you with this. Extra meeting player is not what we were looking for. Isn't
That's
it?
a lineman in
Takeaways.
That's not a Brockism.
A coverage dictating wide receiver?
That was, it was close to that.
It's something like that. It's closer to like a coverage dictating wide receiver.
It is.
Right?
But it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Ticking me off.
A wide receiver who dictates coverage? No?
Yeah.
That's not it?
Maybe.
God, it feels like that's pretty darn close.
It's
We'll
real
keep
close.
thinking. Derek Hallbrook has had the biggest year-to-year improvement that I can think of in my time here in Seattle. Certainly from year 1 to year 2.
You didn't
Maybe
like my
there are
Golden
other-
Tate, huh?
Golden has one. Yeah, Golden be on the
Remember
list.
Golden
for sure.
Tate like strutting around his rookie year, looking like a chubby running back,
Yeah.
stealing donuts, and totally like a zero factor.
Not showing up for practice. Yeah, yeah. Golden would be on the list.
And then he became a stud.
Brock, Derek Hall was a complete waste of time last year. He was an obvious bust, a guy who had no business really being on the field. Every time he was out there, he just got worked. And right now, he's like a different human being. He's been phenomenal. 2 sacks yesterday. The sacks have been awesome, but that hasn't been the whole story. He's collapsing the pocket. He's setting edges. Everything it seemed like a guy with that body should be able to do. The journey for him from where he was last year to where he is right now is unbelievable. And he talked about it. Cut 5. Here's Derek Hall explaining what he's been able to do.
I think the big part of it is just knowing what I had to attack going into the offseason and really honing in on that, being able to develop my pass rush and take it to that next level. Having a year under my belt, knowing what to expect, knowing how things are going to flow, having guys that trusted me like Chinnaboye, and then obviously, like you said, the scheme that Coach Mike has put in place for us on the defensive side of the ball, I think has allowed the entire defense, but specifically the outside back, to be really, really effective game in and game out.
Yeah, so this scheme was always going to help him and Boye. We kind of knew that going in, right? Just based on what it had done for players last year and other seasons. I mean, like, they were always primed to benefit, but this is not just the scheme. This is a guy using his body in a way that he did not last year.
Correct. Yeah, maybe that truck is fairly, like, representative and emblematic, because that truck last year was just in neutral. Right? It just didn't go anywhere. It didn't plow over anything. You couldn't even take that up in the mountains. Like, it barely got through the daffodils up north.
It was all flash, no substance.
That's right. And this year, man, it is just, whew. And some of it is being in those wide nines. Some of that is having more space to operate, more freedom, right? To use that speed to power and collapse that edge.
This may sound ridiculous. Maybe you can answer it. And maybe it's connected to that wide 9 thing. Is some of it being a quote-unquote outside linebacker as opposed to a defensive end?
That's going to be a great – can you write that down? Because you and I won't remember that. Can you kind of ask Mike McDonald that? Like in a good way.
Yeah.
How much different is it? How much, everywhere you've been, right, with the 2 guys at Michigan and Hutchinson, you watch Hutchinson, Aiden's career come to life, and I think it was Ojabo, the other end, right, just come to life there. You've watched Kyle Van Noy and Clowney and those guys in Baltimore come to life. What is it, about that technique or that, because, he doesn't have to right away, I don't think, confront, right, some of that edge as much as you had to in the old scheme. But that's certainly a better question for Mr. McDonald.
Takeaways.
You know what? I am sure the PFF grade is still going to be pretty high for Spoon, Salk. I am sure his grade in that building is going to be pretty high because his energy, this being Weatherspoon, and just competitive will are off the charts. He reminds me, this week I got Colorado for the first time. A little conflicted on that. Because, it'll be interesting. But their guy up there in Boulder, who right now is a front runner for the Heisman, and his name's not Shadur, his name is Travis Hunter, who plays 130 snaps a game of receiver and corner, who's kind of, frankly, built like Spoon. Maybe a little taller, but Hunter's 6'1", 185, and has an endurance that is superhuman. And Spoon, does it ever feel like he is ever fatigued at all? So the energy's off the charts. But I will say, man, this is now a few games, and I know Mike's going to give him maybe a hard time for the 3rd straight week with us because they've got that relationship. Finish that sack. Finish that tackle for loss. You're close on that pick. He's playing at a Pro Bowl level. But if you want to be first team All-Pro, you got to get those numbers. You want to be Defensive Player of the Year, right? You really want to, and I mean, truly, sincerely. Like these 3 games, when I talk about being hard to play against, the epicenter of that is Spoon because he's everywhere. But then the Ed Reeds, the Palomalus, the Richard Shermans, like if you want to take that next level, what do you got to do? You got to make that tackle for loss. You got to make that sack and go to the outside shoulder. You got to, yesterday you got to play to blow up on a little strike. You got to make those plays and finish those plays. And that will be a question for McDonald is how do you take all that juice and energy?
Yeah.
And slow it down to just be super productive at the moment of truth.
It's funny. I asked him about Boye slowing down at that
Correct.
moment last
He
week,
didn't
and
like
he
that.
did not seem to
No.
think like that was the answer. So
Nope.
you can take a chance and ask him
I'll
about
take a
him
swing.
slowing down, because I don't want to do it this week. Who was I watching? One of the other games this week where they mentioned that their nickel had 4 or 5 sacks already this year. And I was like, man, for all we talk about Spoon and what he's able to do in that role, there are other guys
Was it
out
Devin
there.
Gardner-Johnson? Is it that guy?
I don't
Philly?
think so.
No? Okay. By the way, did you see your boy in Philly that you wanted so bad?
Jalen Hurts, I know, has been awful.
Love Jalen Carter. No.
Oh,
you see
Jalen Carter. Oh.
Absolutely lose his ever-loving mind. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, he was like Richard in Kumbaya. Like they could
Really?
not. Oh, they couldn't corral him.
Yeah.
He totally snapped at the Saints fans, at the Saints players. Like he's
jeez.
on the field like a
Get
loony.
it together, pal.
He's a loony.
Get it together.
That's a loony. Your dad's a loony.
He's a loony.
Lyle, what movie? Your dad's
I've never
nothing
heard of
but-
that movie.
Your
Stand
dad's
By
nothing.
Me? That is the most surprising thing that's happened on the show in 2 months. How do you know that?
I've seen it.
You've seen that, but you've never heard of like Patrick Swayze? Bizarre. Man, you are a mystery. I'm excited to
Lyle,
learn
way
more
to
about you.
go, dude.
That was shocking.
I should start throwing some things back at you when you guys try to pull out the "Have you seen this old thing" card that is from your guys' generation.
Yeah, like what? Like what? That'd be perf.
Do you guys know who the Rizzler is?
That'd be a hundo.
I'm gonna guess the answer to that is no. Yeah, see, there we
Rick
go.
Riz?
The
Rizzler? Rick Riz?
Did you call Rick Riz? Yes.
No, it's not Rick Riz. The Rizzler and Big Justice? Yeah, you don't know who those guys are. They're the biggest things on the internet right now.
What is that?
The best way I can describe it is dumb internet stuff, but they're the biggest things on the internet right now.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right.
Salk, was it Alante Taylor from the Saints that you were
Yes.
thinking of? Okay.
It was. That's exactly who it was. Thank you, Maura. It was Alante Taylor. Yes. Geno Brock doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but when he does, they are particularly awful. Both picks yesterday were just terrible. And they might have been the only 2 bad throws he made the entire game.
Well,
He
the
had a
second one you can do nothing about. The second one he's throwing, and the guy times it and bats it up in the air. Like there is no control you have over this. What can he possibly do about the second interception?
All
Seriously.
I know is when
if
Geno
you're
throws
defending
picks, they are
Julio
brutal.
running to the other dugout when a bat's flying at him, like he has no control over that, you throw the ball and the defensive line gets his hands up and tips it up in the air, honestly.
Really? Tip balls are not on the quarterback?
No, 1,000% on the old lineman to get their hands down.
all right,
and that
fine,
guy,
I'll buy that.
Yeah, that guy retreats
It's
from
funny
you.
because he nearly had thrown a pick on the play, either one play before or 2 before, and you're like, oh, geez, and then the pick came.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions.
No, but the
when
first
he
one,
does,
yeah, bad.
it's just
bad.
like what are? It's
Yeah.
like he just all of a sudden loses his mind after playing really phenomenal football. Other than that,
Yeah, I thought that there was and he was pissed about it yesterday in the presser and said as
Yeah, I
much.
heard that.
Yeah, like he knew it. You know, I said the first 2 weeks, Salk, his grade week 1, outside of the sack and the interception on the first 2 plays of the game, off the charts. I told you last week, 44 throws. He didn't miss a throw. His grade off the charts. This grade won't be as good. This grade was a little more back to, even though the stats are
Looked great early, and then kind of the middle of the game
and late. I mean, great early and great late.
Yeah.
I mean, that last drive, of just dealing and dealing, and actually the penultimate drive, dealing and dealing and dealing, then a holding call second and 20 dead drive. But the last 2 drives and the first 3 drives, phenomenal. The other 5 or 6 in between, not great. Including a pick that in that situation, you can't do it. You just cannot do that. You know, chaos in the pocket. You're at your own end zone. You know the tips and overthrows, got to have those on the defensive side. It's the only way they're going to get back in the game. Don't do that. Just throw it in the ground. Throw it at his feet, as I said to Titus, and I'm watching that. Titus, what are you going to do in that situation? Throw it at his feet. Like, don't try to do that. Not time to be a hero. And, yeah, that's been a couple of those with contact. Don't be a hero. Just get rid of the ball, live to play another day, punt it, especially when you're ahead.
Yeah.
Takeaways.
All right, let's see. Oh, man, I had Benetti said this, Salk, on Saturday. You asked about my time with Macy. Off the charts fun. Like, so fun. Her staff there at Oklahoma State, night and day. I mean, so fun. their workout series. They just finished their like Navy SEAL stuff, hard stuff, like she just loves hard, like just tough. Totally fits Stillwater, Oklahoma, where it's all about toughness. Utah, Oklahoma State. Benetti turned to me at one point. I think he said this on the air. He's like, "This is the loudest game I've ever called. Then nothing to do with the noise of the stands. It was collision after collision after collision, and." Both coaches said this about so many of their players. This guy, no regard for his body. This guy, no regard for his body. This guy, no regard for his body. Their linebacker, Nick Martin, you know how I do my end of the year, like favorite Seahawks? Sign him up. Linebacker, 6 foot, 220, does not stop. Will not stop.
Or from Oklahoma State?
From Oklahoma State. Like there's guys that put their face in the fan and guys that eat the fan. He eats the fan. Like he just will not stop. Got no regard for his body. Watching the Seahawk defense, seriously, watching Rayshawn, watching Julian, watching these linebackers, watching Dotson, they got no regard for their body. I mean, they are, and Mike McDonald talked about that. Give me, I think you played it earlier in the show. Excuse me here. Put my readers on and find it for you. Just how hard these guys play defensively. I think it was, talking about the defense cut number 3 when the injuries came to Leonard and to Murph. The rest of the guys picked it up, man. Here was Mike McDonald talking about it post-game.
That's how we expect our defense to play. And this is kind of like, okay, so they're down. Next guy's rolling. Let's go back to work.
You hear Antonio Pierce after the game yesterday?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
he's
bro.
making business decisions, so he's going to have to make some of his own.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Do you see one business decision in 3 weeks for this Seahawk defense?
No, it's funny you brought up Rayshawn. He's on my list of things to ask Mike McDonald about because we've not spent a lot of time talking about him, but he certainly shows up every week.
Mm-hmm. Big target of theirs, man. Right in free agency, just an absolute pro. Yeah, I got one more fun one that you're gonna, I think, actually really like.
No, I'm excited. Well, let me hit one first, and then we'll come back to you.
Takeaways.
This defense has been unbelievable in quick change situations. I know you mentioned them situationally. Sudden change, fine. Whatever the word is, they've
Just
done
say
it.
sudden change. You'll sound better. Like
All
the
right,
football
well, I'll
people.
say sudden change. Fine. Sudden change situation, they've been
Yes.
unbelievable. I know we talked, right? You emphasize what you practice, or you end up being good at what you emphasize.
Yep.
And they practiced it a lot. We saw a lot of that whole, who was it who was telling us? Brady, maybe? Somebody who was telling us all about all of the sudden change stuff they worked on, just throwing out a random scenario. Like, okay, here's the deal. Ready, go.
Yep.
And they've been phenomenal. They've been put in those positions in all 3 games. 3 interceptions and a fumble all have led to the other team taking over inside at least the 50, if not the 20. And they've excelled in all of those spots. Cut 6 here is from Terrell Dodson, who was asked about those types of situations. That's cut 6.
You got to take a lot of pride. You just like no one scores on you, no one like knocks down your door. You gotta stand. Like I tell the guys, like you gotta stand on your 10 toes. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it just shows how resilient the guys are, and I'm just so proud of everyone.
He's got a little juice, huh?
He does.
Dodson.
Salk, you're either coaching it or you're enabling it.
Okay.
Salk, you are what you emphasize.
Yeah.
Salk, practice without purpose is just recess.
I told that to Cecily, and she was like, well, that sounds great. She loves recess.
Dotson, dude, how hard. I did not think, I thought Skylar Thompson's right clavicle was in his left clavicle after Dotson drove him into and through the turf. He got up from that one, came back in, and then it was the next shot that just, oh, gosh.
The next one wasn't even bad. It was just sort of a little push. Down he went. He was toast.
Oh, man. All right. One final one. I think you'll dig
Takeaways.
I was thinking about this. This is your kind of roster construction stuff that is so up your alley.
Mm-hmm.
One of the neat things when Pete came around the first time, he had 2 advantages. He had an institutional knowledge of the college players coming out over the last decade of his time at SC. And then he had a market, there was a market opportunity. There was not a demand for big safeties, not a demand for corners with the length that he was really seeking. And then his scheme was such a fit for it. This defensive scheme I think, is capturing a couple market opportunities. Number one, what is there always a glut of? Where is there defensively a supply? Pete said this to us last year. Where is there a supply chain?
Safety.
That overfloweth. Safety. And it gives you an opportunity to get good players, veteran players, smart players. Rayshawn Jenkins, Kayvon Wallace, not Walker. Kayvon Wallace. Obviously, re-sign, repay Julian. Like, we can find good, smart safeties. There's a lot of them. So you know what it gives us a chance to do? Get exactly the kind we want that can do a lot of different things in versatility and have a high football IQ. Number one. Number two, you need linebackers that can run. I kind of like this Drake Thomas guy that came in the game.
Yeah, he played well.
You know what he is, Salk? 5'11", 228.
Yeah, he's a safety playing linebacker.
Exactly. You know what there's not enough of? Linebackers. Do you know where there's the biggest pinch point from a supply standpoint? Linebackers. So do you know what we need to find? Like this dude, Nick Martin at Oklahoma State, that's 6 foot, 220. You know what he was? A safety that became a linebacker. Yeah, Jonathan Hall, Utah, a safety that became a linebacker.
What was the guy from the Rams that sort of started that?
Yeah, but he did that in their scheme. He kind of just schematically, they ran a 4-2 where he walked down. This is like legitimately, no. You're a safety that plays linebacker in our scheme because speed is bigger than size. We don't need you taking on double teams. You shouldn't have people coming at you. We want you free to run. So you know what, Tyrese Knight at 5'11 and a half, 230. Drake Thomas, 5'11, not even that, 228. Tyrell Dodson, 6 foot, not even that, 237. It gives us the opportunity to find oversized safeties that can flat out run, that then have enough thump to them, Salk, to be a linebacker. So I think this scheme is kind of cool in that way because it opens your just supply to more guys, more scheme, more size fits that you don't need KJ Wright in his length at 6'5". You know, there aren't many of them. You don't need Bobby at 6'3", 250. You don't need those because there's not many of them. But there's a lot of undersized linebackers that can really scoot and run and flourish within this system, man. I told you you'd like that. You're speechless.
Well, I was going to give you one more.
No, you're speechless.
I was going to give you one more.
No, you're done. You looked at your phone. You're like, 53-30.
No, I said I was going to give you this one. The Dolphins look like they're coached. They play like they are coached by a guy who looks like Mike McDaniel looks.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm pretty sure I saw him on an episode of Miami Vice selling coke to Sonny Crockett. Like, pretty sure that's what he's been doing down there. Back when Sonny was using the alias Sonny Burnett. Like, pretty sure he was in an episode or two.
Yeah.
What is that? What's happened to him in a couple of years down there?
I was going to say who weighs more, but like that dude is, 140 pounds?
He's not a big dude.
Tiny. He had the right to be pissed a couple times. Those refs yesterday, obviously 11 penalties on both sides, but twice. And allowing like QB to get absolutely hit once again, and then another play where it was an obvious false start, like blow the play dead, false start.
Right.
It's not a legal formation, false start.
Yeah.
But the noise got those refs is I think, kind of also got Harlan, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like, not
just
in
go with
Jenga.
JSN. If it's too hard to say, let's just stick with
that's
JSN.
what I do. Yes.
And you should be just fine.
Yes.
All right. There was one other takeaway that probably deserves a little bit longer of a segment because it might have the longest tail because it might show the most about who this team is. I'll tell you what that is next on Brock and Salk.
This is Seattle Sports.
Thompson sets, stops, looks, gets hit, goes down. Derek Hall comes around the corner, and he is there to add to his sack total.
On defense side of the ball, we're just trying to come out, be resilient, start fast, keep going, and finish the game. And I think we did that really, really well today.
Gino from the shotgun, hands it to Charbonnet, left side. He's in. Touchdown, Seahawks.
I thought we took a step forward today. It's a great win. I mean, it's awesome to be 3-0, but obviously we got a big one coming up too. So
we are the home of the Seahawks.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Sinking or uneven concrete around your home? You need to call Matt Vey Foundation Repair.
Hi, I'm Matthew Cote with Matt Vey Foundation Repair. If you have an uneven, cracked driveway, sunken sidewalk, or sagging cement porch, we offer an easy and cost-effective solution.
When you call Matt Vey, you'll get a realistic bid, meticulous cleanup, and a lifetime warranty. No one else offers that kind of guarantee. For your free evaluation, call 8449-MATT-VEY or visit gomattvey.com.
Do it the right way, the Matt Vey way. Rock built, rock solid.
The seasons are changing, and if you're thinking it's time to change what you drive, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will get you charged up with the BZ4X. Toyota's all-electric crossover SUV features an estimated range up to 252 miles, getting you where you need to go. Test drive the BZ4X at the electrifying showroom at Toyota of Kirkland and take it home the same day. Visit in person today at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is moneybags, but a $ instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at onepassword.com. That's 2 free weeks at onepassword.com.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
We're here with Corey Heston, owner of Heston Door Service, with big news. Heston Door Service has been voted Best Garage Door Company in the Pacific Northwest by you, the people, in the Seattle Times.
It's crazy to think 10 years ago, it was just me working out of a driveway. And now my team has been voted the best garage door company in the Pacific Northwest. We take pride in the work we do in the business we created. And we wanted to thank everyone for trusting us to be your number one choice.
Corey, how can we learn more about you?
You can check us out at HestonDoorService.com.
Don't miss Mariners Fan Appreciation Night this Friday against the A's. After the game at 7:10, stick around for a special fireworks show presented by T-Mobile. Plus, you'll have the chance to win incredible prizes all night long, including Alaska Airlines flights, autographed jerseys, and more.
Into the corner, gone! Julio!
Go to mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets today. Mariners Baseball. Tridents up.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Down to the one. He's in. Touchdown. Seahawks. Zach Charbonnet.
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to accuse you of murder.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now, here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Bryant texting in to let me know that Mike McDaniel's sober, so the Coke jokes aren't in the best taste. I didn't say he looked like he was doing it. He looks like he's selling it.
Why do you do that, Saul?
Because I've watched every episode of Miami Vice, and he looks like he belongs in it.
Dude's had issues. Now he's sober. Really? Come on, man.
Stop. What's the matter with you?
Be better than that.
It's not. Did you hear
someone? Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
Someone tweeted you and me. I don't know if you look at social media and did not enjoy our growth hormone stuff or testosterone because he battled, and I'm not making fun of it. Like, I think it's a worthy stuff. I just don't want it on my phone. Just stop emailing me crap about it. Okay. Anywho, what were you going to say?
I was going to talk about Tyreek Hill.
Oh.
Or maybe call him Tyreek Who, because he didn't do jack. 3 receptions for 40 yards in that game. And I'd be curious to know, sort of from your perspective, what it is they did to make that happen. I'm sure some of it is on the quarterback play. The quarterbacks were not competent.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it, as you mentioned earlier, had to be on the pressure on the quarterback, not giving him time to get down the field and sort of use that speed. But how much of it was on specifically Reek Woolen and the rest of that secondary to just completely lock him up? Because shutting down game changers like Tyreek Hill, if that is the thing that this team is able to do moving forward, that is a legitimately enormous development for them.
Yes, if they could have only done the same with D. Eskridge. I mean, the fact that I think D had the longest reception of the day yesterday.
Yeah, that one longer reception, yes.
Yeah, through a little skinny post that he double caught, but that was actually a really good throw by Boyle that hit him in stride. Yeah, Hill didn't get anything in stride. Right? I mean, he got a little bubble screen here, but they were just Salk all over him. And I don't think this was not like a box and one, right? And when you talk about, well, we're going to, like with Marvin Harrison, we're going to just play somebody over the top. Well, Marvin lined up in the same spot every single time in the formation. It was just 2x2 basically, or 3x1, and he was there. So teams could roll over the top and try to double, and you still had every route and things to still beat that. Hill moves around. It's not like, oh, yeah, every single play we're going to bracket him. Every single play we're going to double him. Every single play we're going to box and one him. You can't do that. And it's why he's been as effective and productive over the course of his career, because he moves everywhere, and he is just electric fast. But you know what the second and third level of this defense is?
Also electric fast?
Electric fast. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, these linebackers can run. Dotson can run. Spoon can run. Woolen can run. Rayshon and Julian, sure, if it was a 40-yard race with Reek, they're going to lose by 3 steps. They're not going to be able to keep up with him, but they know how to leverage. They know angles. They know where their help is. And then when you've got a front that has the most pressures in the NFL, I'm going to imagine they'll still be right there as one of the most pressure teams in all the NFL without blitzing. It's just your 4 getting home or 4 from different spots getting there.
Hey, sometimes they have 0 blitzing, 0 rushing.
Had you ever
seen, end of the half.
Had you ever seen that in your life?
They dropped legitimately 10.
10.
One guy was sort of like half-heartedly like poking at the offensive line without really trying to rush.
One
it was
on,
more
one
of
on
like
5.
A spy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had never. Oh gosh, that's another question. Where did that come from? I got so many from McDonald today. A, what do you call that? And
it's cover 10, Brock.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's cover 10.
Where did that come from, and how many times have you run it? I don't think I've ever seen that in my life.
Yeah, that's cover 10.
Yeah, anywho.
Obviously, I know all about it. cover 10. We ran that back at BB&N back in the day.
Oh, you did? You guys were a big cover 10
We
team?
just go cover 10, rush one, and
because I'm sure in that league you saw guys like Waddle and Tyreek Hill that have kind of burning speed.
Yeah, there were only 3 quarterbacks that even threw the ball in our league. We just kept running it over and over.
No, this is going to be fun, and you have said this a few different times. You said it earlier in the show. I know a lot of Seahawks fans are thinking this. Is this like, how much of this is real? How much of this is your opponent and everything else? You're going to get a great stress test on Monday night against an elite O-line, 2 really good running backs. I think they ran for like 180 yesterday against Arizona, 100-yard day for Montgomery, and Gibbs can flat out fly and is totally dangerous and good tight end. Like, they've got everything. And in these 3 matchups, it's been fairly clear. Like, okay, let's take this away. We got a great chance to win. Take away Miami's explosive plays and Waddle and Hill. Guess what? Great chance to win. Take away New England. Well, they didn't take away the run game, but, made them one-dimensional because they could not throw it. They could not pass protect. They could not do any of that. So a little leaky in the run game, but effective. Bo Nix, make his life absolute Hades and speed the game up on him and get him spinning, and they did. This one's going to be a little different test next Monday night.
Yeah, because it's going to be a lot harder to mess with Jared Goff at this stage of his career. I mean, he's comfortable, he's confident, he's been doing it well, he's got great protection in front of him. I can't wait for this Monday night game, honestly, because I feel like it is the thing that will give us more of a sense of what reality is than anything. And by the way, if they lose that game or don't play as well as they did in the first 3, I'm not hitting a panic button on the Seahawks, nothing close to it. I still think this is a pretty good team, regardless of what they do in Detroit on Monday. But if they are able to keep this up and they are able to shut down that offense, I mean, that's got to be, all of a sudden you got to take notice. Like, wait a minute, this might be one of, if not the best defense in football.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that carries, and so this too is something from day one with you, and I do remember this one. I don't remember exactly the kind of receiver.
It's a receiver dictates
that
coverage.
Just dictates coverage?
Yes.
Okay, let's just roll with that.
It's a receiver that dictates coverage.
That I think you're right. Actually,
the
more
I'm feeling very confident.
No, actually, just the way you said it right there. That was the key to it. Say it again.
A receiver that dictates coverage.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta say with emphasis.
Yes.
Yeah. You got to put the emphasis on the right syllable.
That's exactly right. Just like Ryan Roland-Smith does all the time in Australian. The other thing I've said to you is when 4 beats 5, you win. And that's what carries, man. And beyond anything else in these first 3 games, you're 4 beating their 5 consistently, and go back to 13 and go back to 14 and go back to those teams. The LOB got all the hype. You'd say it all the time. The group up front never got the credit they quite deserved because it was all legendary and it was all Hall of Fame behind them. But man, if Boye and Hall and hopefully maybe Uchenna comes back.
Is there any chance
Uchenna
makes it back for Monday night? Because, I mean, if you're not – I don't know what's going to go on with Leonard Williams. I don't know what's going to go on with Byron Murphy. Yep. And certainly those 2 guys would be really important with the running game that Detroit wants to throw at you.
Yes.
But if you could get Uchenna and Walker back – and I would think Walker will be back, right? I heard Jim Mueller saying he was working up a lather
I was watching
pregame.
him. I was watching him sprint pregame. I like that. He was out there actually like now – obviously running straight ahead is different than having to do what he does, but that's a huge positive.
But you got an extra day, Monday Night Football. I mean, so like I'm going to hope that he's going to be ready on Monday. Uchenna would be such a gift to get him back, especially if we don't know what's going on with Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy. So.
Agreed.
All right, that's
you
where
will hear none of that today from Mike McDonald.
No, we're going to get absolutely none. In fact, I don't even know if I'm going to bother asking him. I let Brady do that. Let him get mad at Brady. All right, 20 minutes. The coach will be with us for the Mike McDonald Show after everything you need to know next.
This is Seattle Sports.
Throw deep, got DK open, touchdown, Seahawks, a 71-yarder to DK.
DK was able to get behind him. I thought the protection was great. Allowed us that extra second we needed to get the ball downfield. That was a big play for us.
Down to the 1, he's in, touchdown, Seahawks, Zach Charbonnet.
With the type of defense that we have on our team, it just gives us the utmost confidence to go out there and just play free.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Come on, folks, make today the day. I know many of you are frustrated with your insurance. You're really wondering, what are we paying for? Why am I paying so much? if you were like me and Molly and so many others, and make today the morning where you take the First Mark Challenge and find out. We heard so many of these First Mark Challenge victories that save people so much money. We decided we need to take this challenge too, and boy, am I glad we did. It has saved us thousands on our premiums the last couple years and given us such assurance of knowing exactly what we're paying for. Here's how they do it. Here's how First Mark goes to work for you. They will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. Then, unlike you and me, they go to the market. Dozens of major carriers they've worked with for years to find you the best fit for you and your family. That's it. No stress, no confusion. Think of it this way. First Mark's your teammate, and they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families, including mine, successfully manage this complicated world of insurance. So don't wait a morning longer, please. Go take the First Mark Challenge. It's totally free, and you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory we get to talk to. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. firstmarkinsurance.com, your teammate that goes to work for you.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster that is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-495-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over a $55 value free with every order. Call 1-800-495-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
West Coast Men's Health has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease using acoustic wave therapy. No pills and no shots. But it's not our success stories that separate us from the other clinics. It's how we interact with our patients. From your first call, our medical staff will take the time to answer your questions, whether it's about your ED, how our treatment works, or even about the cost. Our goal is to inform and educate you so you're comfortable when you come in for your first visit. So if you're tired of frustrating nights, you're ready to get off Viagra and put an end to your ED or Peyronie's disease, stop living with this problem and do something about it. Give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
By the time this radio ad ends, another vehicle will be stolen somewhere in the United States. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
This is Seattle Sports.
Got DK open. Touchdown! Seahawks! A 71-yarder to DK.
The home of the Seahawks.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that
I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
I don't know how much more you could expect from these Seahawks in their first 3 games. They've won each of them, and they've done it primarily with dominating defense. I've really enjoyed this defense, Brock. I thought their first game was awesome. Second game, they, gave up the rushing yards, and I know people felt like they didn't play as well defensively, but they made the big plays they needed to late in that game to get off the field and to prevent points and do what they had to set it up for the offense to win. And then yesterday, they just completely dominated. The defense was ridiculous yesterday. There was nothing Miami could do. They shut down 2 of the 15 best receivers in the game. They shut down the running game. I mean, Miami, say what you want about the quarterback. They've got all kinds of skill position guys, and they were completely ineffective.
Yeah, I think it was a totally legit question that it was either Harlan or Trent Green asked the sideline reporter after about the 4th time they went down, or maybe it was about the 12th time they went down to her asking about injuries to the Dolphins. It was a legit concern and question, like with Skylar Thompson. Did he puncture a lung? Like when you hear a chest injury, that is immediately your concern, because you're right. The hit that Dotson laid on him was Bobby Wagner-esque.
It seemed unlikely given that he was just sitting on the sideline.
Correct. Well, they took him in. They took him, right? They had to take him in, so I'm sure that's x-rays. Who knows? Maybe on his collarbone, maybe a rib is totally out of play. Whatever it was, that dude got, oh my goodness. And some of it's self-inflicted. Come on, Mike McDaniel, what are you doing before the end of the half? And Skylar, what are you doing thinking you're going to just have, time to play some patty cake back there with the ball before Derek Hall absolutely runs you over like the truck that he's become? That poor man had a 5-hour flight back to Miami, like so many of those Dolphins that were absolutely pounded yesterday.
Could not have been fun. 6 sacks, 12 hits on the quarterback. They knocked one of them out, as you mentioned. 7 tackles in the backfield. That's a heck of a day. Dominant defensive football. And then on the offensive side, DK Metcalf goes over 100 for the 2nd straight week. He had a 71-yard bomb. And Zach Charbonnet, 91 yards. Didn't quite get to 100, but he was physical. He was nasty. And cut 2, he finished things off in style.
2nd down and 7, and he stays in the game to Charbonnet, and he gets the handoff, and he looks for running room, and he pops it outside, near side, down to the 1, he's in! Touchdown! Seahawks! Zach Charbonnet scores from 13 out, make it 10 out, and a couple of players had to be pulled apart down on the field. But the big play made by Charbonnet, hits it up inside, bounces it outside to the right, and outruns him to the end zone. His 2nd touchdown of the game, and makes it 23-3.
That's not running towards, your potential Pro Bowl left tackle. That's running to the right side, where those guys are not nearly as highly thought of.
Yeah, you remember so many of those super fun years, Salk, where on Fridays we could play some ECDC. We could talk about, hey, man, Seahawks may not win this, but you're coming out of that ring, and you're going to be bloodied like Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed. Like, you're going to feel the Seahawks. And then it kind of, I don't know.
It felt fake after a while.
It did. It felt just kind of disingenuous and phony. Like, nope, that's no longer... And you're not totally there yet, but you're starting to get these vibes that this team is really, really violent.
Nasty, heavy-duty win for the team. Now, they do have some injury concerns themselves. Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy both left. We'll see if either or both of them are able to return this week. In your division, the Rams come from behind to beat the Niners late, so that probably helps out quite a bit. Cardinals lose to Detroit. Seahawks, of course, will be in the Motor City Monday night.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Trying to go through all the scenarios for the Mariners, and it's not an easy road. It's not impossible, but it's not an easy road for them. I am done trying to predict what the heck is going to happen in this Major League Baseball season, because these teams, just when you think they're good, go in the tank and vice versa. They're all over the map. But here's what I do know. 2 series left. The Mariners are 5 games back in the division. And it's really 3 games behind in the wild card with 6 left to play, because they lose the tiebreaker to all 3 teams they're competing with. The Mariners, Royals, Twins, and Tigers are all in it, looking to secure 2 spots. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and
4
everybody,
teams, 2 spots.
Even your buddy Dan Szymborski before the season, everyone knew the American League Central would be the best division in baseball.
They did not.
Everybody knew that, right?
They did not. But
Cleveland's going to win that division, either Minnesota and Kansas City or Detroit, 2 of those 3.
Pretty crazy.
That's nuts.
Give Detroit credit. They have absolutely finished the way you would want a team to do. Mariners could not this weekend. They blow out the Rangers Friday and Saturday. Julio was ridiculous. And they're up 5-0 yesterday.
5-0.
Middle of the game, and then it just...
What's their percentage when they score 5 runs? It was like 55-4.
It's very
and you're
high.
up 5-0.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, Texas comes roaring back. Marcus Semien walks it off, and the M's just can't get it done yesterday. So Dan Wilson, cut 7, kind of understands where they're at and what just happened.
It's a tough one to swallow. Obviously, we win the series. That's a positive. We got a big series ahead of us, and we've got to turn the page quickly on this and move on, which we've been able to do. So, we'll do it tonight and move on, be ready for Houston tomorrow.
And just to set it up, yes, they are in Houston. Bryce Miller and Hunter Brown go tonight. Maybe Yordan Alvarez will be out. He hurt his knee. But the other matchups are pretty favorable to start. Kansas City has Washington. They're not very good. Detroit has Tampa. They're okay. Minnesota has Miami, who's one of the worst teams in the league. So you got your hands full with Houston tonight.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Pretty good weekend for the college teams in town, that's for sure. Huskies and Cougs both win, and the Cougs are just outside the top 25. How about that? They can move in front of Boise State, who is 25th, with a win this weekend. I am just blown away by Jake Dickert and what he's accomplished there at Wazoo.
Yep, pretty remarkable. I'm blown away by the quarterback, man. This John Mateer can absolutely play. 380 yards passing, over 100 yards rushing. I remember when Tui did that.
Will he stay there next year? I was out with Tyler, Coug, buddy, on Friday, and he's like, oh, this kid's awesome, but if he's too good, he'll leave.
Yeah, like Cam Ward did, right? And get paid 7 figures to go play quarterback somewhere. Yeah, that's a danger.
Bummer, where you're like, if my guy plays too well, he's going to leave.
Right.
You want your guy to play well, but not that well.
Crazy.
That's just dumb. It really is.
Yeah.
Maybe Northwestern will pay him to replace their quarterback, who totally stinks. They get rolled by the Huskies, only score 5 points in the game on Saturday. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour.
Quick confession, because I know we have Coach here in just a couple minutes. You know what I don't think I'm ever going to do again in my life, because I was totally humiliated, walked away from it, just with the worst sinking feeling. Like, what am I? And I didn't even tell you about any of this. Thursday did the show and then went and shot clays.
Oh, yeah, you said you were going to do that.
Never again.
Really hard, huh?
Well, I want to make an excuse for my colorblindness. If the orange clays and the trees were a problem, which they were, but my vision also sucks.
Right.
Yeah, it was horrible. And then I got bit by a bunch of these fire ants.
Oh, my gosh.
They must have got up my leg. I'm done. I was just, and it was like 2.5 hours. It was an awesome course, 13 stations. The dudes that could actually shoot and hit the freaking clay loved it. Your boy is like, yep, this really stinks. Because I don't know if I'm ever going to do this again.
What are you shooting?
These clays, and they were.
What are the guns you're shooting?
Oh, it was just a shotgun, 12 gauge. Yeah, just terrible.
It's not thankfully, like a musket, is it?
No, thankfully I could handle it. Thankfully it didn't bruise me like it did some of my buddies. But man, was I terrible. The only good thing is I didn't bruise like Salk. I didn't bruise.
Yeah, I'm not a
But
bruiser.
man, I was awful.
All right, Coach. What a lead in to Coach McDonald. For everybody who tuned in just a little early, excited to hear the coach. I'm glad you got that story in.
Well, the Dolphins were humiliated the same way, as they had to pack up their bags, pack up their damage they were done, the bruises and beat down they got at Lumen Field yesterday. How'd that feel to the head coach?
We'll ask him all about it next on Brock and Salk Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app as well.
This is Seattle Sports.
Thompson sets, stops, looks, gets hit, goes down. Derek Hall comes around the corner, and he is there to add to his sack total.
On defense side of the ball, we just trying to come out, be resilient, start fast, keep going, and finish the game. And I think we did that really, really well today.
Gino from the shotgun, hands it to Charbonnet, left side. He's in. Touchdown, Seahawks.
I thought we took a step forward today. It's a great win. I mean, it's awesome to be 3-0, but obviously we got a big one coming up too. So
we are the home of the Seahawks.
All right, guys, summer is officially over now. You had your fun. You probably ate and maybe drank too much, but now it's the time to get back on track. Do what I did. Stop feeling frustrated and overwhelmed. Start being excited about the new you. It's possible. You got a teammate in Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs, just teaching you how to turn your body into a fat-burning machine and keep it off for the long term as well. Eastside knows the secret for fast, lasting, and legitimate weight loss using real food that you buy at the grocery store, lifestyle strategies designed to reset your metabolism to help you keep that weight off for life. You can get a free consultation. Schedule it now. Go to eastsideweightlossklinik.com. The program has helped thousands of people, myself included. I lost 35 pounds in 8 weeks, and when I needed just a little refresher at the end of this summer, no problem, I dropped 20 in 3 weeks. Schedule your free consult today. Call them at 425-588-0080 or go to eastsideweightlossklinik.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory, well, it goes to Mike. Hey, Mike, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I moved here from New York City and found this great guy. It got pricey, but because he was good to us over the years, we stayed loyal to him. But then one day I got an increase that was quite unacceptable. So I made one phone call. I didn't do any shopping. My wife told me to call First Mark.
Mike, were they able to save you and your family money?
Oh, yes. It was over $100 a month.
What would you tell others they can expect when they call First Mark?
The most competitive pricing that you can find. And they had terrific customer service. Even if you're on the phone with them, you can tell they have a smile on their face, so you can tell they love what they're doing.
Do you wish you would have made that call earlier?
I was just kicking myself as you were speaking because I didn't do it sooner.
Well, you just heard. Mike did it. My family did it. You got to do it, too. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. That's firstmarkinsurance.com.
Big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 10/13/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more. So you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit FCIFloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
This is Seattle Sports.
Thompson sets, stops, looks, gets hit, goes down. Derek Hall, and he is there to add to his sack total.
The home of the Seahawks.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year. And I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and I had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Elshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
It's a work in progress since the day you walk in the door.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Yes, sir! Well, we're on to our third Mike McDonald Show, and they've all been following a win.
Yeah.
We don't even know what this is going to be like after
Winners.
a loss and what these conversations are going to be. The team just keeps going out and doing its thing. It's pretty cool.
If we lose, do you get a new soundbite before the show?
Yeah, it's a very depressed. You're just like, guys, we're gonna get it next time. Yeah, we've got some other stuff ready for you. What do you like best about your team right now?
There's a lot to like. Man, you just threw it on me right there. I mean, there's a lot to like. I think it's the mentality that, like, yeah, we haven't arrived. We've done what we need to do to win games. Kind of like a moment-by-moment type mindset. So I think that's where we're at. I think the guys are going to watch it. There's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff on tape that we should be excited about, and there's a lot of stuff I think the feeling should be like, wow, we are still in the infant stages of this thing, and we were able to find three wins here in the first 3 weeks. We need to step on the gas here. It's an opportunity for us to really make a jump as a team, and I think that's the way they'll be thinking.
Mike, I'd love to ask you this question every week, and that is what you felt leaving the field yesterday, the perception of what you experienced versus the reality of the tape. Anything that you felt leaving the building versus turning that tape on? And I know you didn't watch it yesterday. You put it on this morning and got right to it. Anything, any stark difference between the two?
I think I actually felt like I had a pretty good grasp of it yesterday. I wouldn't say there was any stark differences, Brock, honestly. I had a good feeling about how well we played on defense in terms of just playing hard. There's some things schematically that we need to get better at, process-wise, where I think they're going to be watching the tape Miami and say, oh, we could have had X, Y, and Z. And, the other teams are going to see that. So those are things we got to look good after. Special teams wise, probably had a better feel for how we played on teams. There's a couple plays that we let them get out in the return game that we need to be getting our PZQs. I thought our protection was way better than in previous weeks, which was good. And then offensively, similar, like just felt like we a little stalemate early running the ball, but like proud of the way we stuck to it. And then finished the game off there in that last drive, so that was good.
When you see plays, just sort of going by what you just said, that are maybe not perfect from either the schematic standpoint or the positions, the way everybody moved, but you love the effort, you love the tackling, you love the result. How do you handle those plays with the team or with the individual player later?
Oh, it's simple. You just head on. You know, I think the guys know that we're in this thing together. So, you know, this is what the call is asking you to do. This is what, you know, how you guys approached it. Let's make sure we're on the same wavelength on how we're thinking about things. And, you know, again, you're never going to call a perfect game. There's plays yesterday that I'm going to tell the guys, hey, this is not a great call for this offensive play. Like, there's stress. So let's get to the down. Let's go to the next one. And that's always been the approach. Just kind of surgically, you know, just kind of keep the emotion out of it.
Loudest environment you've ever coached in?
You know, it's funny when we're playing. It's kind of like just white noise to me. You know, like when we're on defense, I know it's really loud because we can't. Our guys, like, the calls kind of have a hard time coming in, and you can see the offensive operation is under duress. But it's just like this white noise when we're going. So I'm going to say us. You know, I'm going to say Lumen Field by far and away. But
and I'm sorry I haven't studied you closely enough. Do you have two? Do you have one ear open so you can hear the crowd, or do you have the two on that kind of does?
I just feel like the two is like a little extra. You know, you just need one earpiece.
Okay, so you got just the one ear, because it felt. I said to Mike earlier, and I know there were camera folks talking about it, and they did on the national broadcast. Mike, it felt like it was rocking yesterday.
Well, you could tell. I mean, it affected their operation for sure. You know, probably, you know, if you're asking those guys, they probably wanted more, you know, better out of their operation offensively.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having a new quarterback and all that, all that stuff, kind of probably contributes to it. But the fans are a huge part of what we do when we're at home. You know, like you can't go crazy with calls and checks and communication, so you're banking on playing fast and having them under duress to operate. So yesterday that's a winning formula.
How physical was that game yesterday?
You know, I expect them all to be physical. I don't expect that. Like, I just kind of, we're talking about the standard of how we play on defense. I think the two home games, effort-wise, is close to where we're shooting. But I think, yeah, it's consistent. Like, I don't, you know, this next game's gonna be really physical coming up, you know, because that's what they're hanging their hat on in Detroit. So, challenge is to step it up a notch.
Are those two words connected? Physicality and effort.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also a function of, like, confidence, like trust. Because if you don't have confidence and trust in what you're being asked to do and the guy next to you, you kind of can't pull the trigger to the degree that you need to in order to play the right way.
When you say trust, is that, I'm sure it involves a lot of different things.
Like trust that
I know what I'm doing. I'm in the right spot. This guy, if I miss, is going to be right there.
Totally.
It all has to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And absolutely. And they got to trust that we're coaching stuff that works. You know, that's a huge part of it. That's a starting point, you know.
Is there anything I think every interview we've ever had with you, Sam, we bring up Sam Ramsden, coach, in the sports science end of things. Is there any way you measure from an output? So at Oklahoma State this week, I was telling Salk, they got a linebacker that's just a Seahawk. This guy is crazy. And Gundy was telling us on the catapult system, he reaches an output of 800. And if you get to 500, it's like superhuman. Like, this dude just does not stop. Is there a way that just almost science-based that you do look at that energy, the effort, the output that is put in?
I'm sure there's probably a good metric for it, but I kind of go off the eye test right now, you know, with our guys.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of a boring, bland, old school answer, but have yet to see a great, you know, something to back it up.
What were you? Were you a strong safety?
Were you like total loads and stuff? But
yeah. Were you a strong safety or linebacker? What were you back in the day?
No shot of playing DB, bro. No shot. My high school buddy was in town from growing up, and he played tailback. This game, he was playing tailback. I played fullback, and he was giving me crap because he was like, "Who would have thought you're the slowest human alive?" Look at you. Yeah. I get like 3.5. That was my calling card. I was like, look, I'll get you 3.5. You can multiply that by 4. It's a first down every time.
So let me guess, number 44, you had a cowboy collar, big mouthpiece. What was your style?
No cowboy collar. I was 32, fullback. Yeah, we ran I formation, just ran ISO like 70 times. Ended up with stingers, and it's not pleasant. And then I played linebacker, and we were still running ISO, but I was on the other side of it for so killed some brain cells a good bit in high school. Yep. But if I got a trap, I was rolling 4 or 5 yards.
I'm going to guess Brock was asking you about strong safety because he wanted to ask you about Rayshon Jenkins, so I'll jump in and do that. Just because
we can go back to high school, Dave.
I mean, we could.
No, I like it.
Like people have tried to find highlight tapes, and there's a challenge. You will not find a highlight tape out there.
Big number 32 looking so good, man.
There are no highlights. I'm on more other people's highlight tapes than on my highlight tape. So.
Could you tell me a little bit about Rayshon? Because he seemed to be a pretty big target for your team in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
You bring him in. We have not talked that much about him on our show or just in the media in general. And yet, every time I watch the game, I can't help but notice him. So what was it about him that you guys wanted and targeted?
How he plays the game. And then, you do your homework on these guys and just how he is in the building, the type of guy that he is. And I remember him coming out. I really liked him coming out of Miami. So, I had like an initial good impression. But then, you work with folks that have coached him and stuff, and they loved him. And then some of the players that have been with him and they loved him. So anytime you kind of get the constant, everybody loves this guy, that's a pretty strong statement. And then the tape kind of spoke for itself, excuse me. And it was a little bit of a projection on how they were playing in Jacksonville, and then what he was doing in LA to how he would do it here. But we can coach that stuff up. But this guy, plays incredibly fast, plays physical. Obviously, he's doing a lot of things for us right now. So, and it's not easy. It's not easy to be moving. Like we've talked about this in the past. Like, it's great to be versatile and play different spots. Well, it comes at a cost. And so you needed some massive investment on the front end, to pull it off. And he's doing that. So,
I think another guy that everybody constantly loves and everybody says good things about is somebody on your staff. And I think you mentioned him last week. The media asked you about Leslie Frazier and all of his experience he had in Buffalo in that division, facing what you guys saw yesterday. Now that they're in the rearview mirror and you won't see them unless you're both in the Super Bowl, can you kind of speak to the role that Leslie did play in prepping for those Dolphins and that scheme and their personnel?
Well, I'd say the thing that's unique to like last week is just that he's seen him so frequently. But I'd say the role is, consistent throughout the week or throughout every game. Like looking at it big picture wise, kind of smelling a rat in some of our game plan stuff and what he feels like is sometimes. I like to do. There's a lot. Like I take out more throughout the week than I probably should. So he's kind of like, okay, like that's enough, Mike. Or like, he gives me this look where let's calm down there, buddy.
Like he's helping you simplify? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. But so there's that. He does. So that's every week. And then just like we just had a great conversation this morning about where we are as a football team, things that he's seeing, observations from the game. He's got like a unique kind of like a different lens that he's seeing our team through. That's a little bit, it gets less muddy, from maybe my perspective. So I'd say, but like last week, just because they played him so much, he had some unique insights into like his experience going against those guys. T-Dot was great because T-Dot's been that a bit. He's been with last few years too. So, but yeah, I'd say it wasn't like you got to play this coverage or you got to, you got to put this guy here or whatever. Like, that's not. It doesn't really work like that,
Smell a rat, huh? Smell a rat.
Like this is not good,
This isn't gonna work.
Yeah, like okay, Mike, relax.
Could you help me understand your outside linebackers? We've seen with Boye and Derek Hall especially just tremendous growth. They continue to look better and better and better than they did, last year or in Boye's case, the last couple of years. I was asking Brock whether some of that was playing outside linebacker versus defensive end, and I'm not sure I am even fully sure what the difference is all the
there's
time.
There's no difference.
Right? I mean, like, what is it about that position in your scheme? What are you looking for from those guys? Why have they had a lot of success in your scheme?
Yeah, I'm like, it's not my scheme. It's not. It's just
on your teams.
It's like an edge. It's an edge position. You play anywhere from the C gap out to the D gap. I just think, like, I don't know. I mean, I only have the lens through defenses that I've coached on. So we ask a lot of those guys. You know, it's not just pin your ears back and rush every snap. You have to play blocks. You have to be violent on the edge. There's edge mechanics involved. You have to recognize, like, blocking surfaces and stuff on early downs. If you can get a pass tell, you got to get into, a pass key and our pass rush plan. You got to learn how to play off of how they're rushing inside of you, which is really important because you have to balance the rush. So, and then you have all the drop responsibilities too, which is, just extra stuff. But we try to keep it in buckets for the guys so they can go execute it. But those guys deserve a lot of credit. I thought Draymond Jones played a great game yesterday. He's kind of like this edge interior hybrid type guy that we're still kind of ironing out, like his solidified role. But I thought he played his best game yesterday, and so fired up for him. And then just like you kind of go down the line, like Mike Morris did some good things. Tashawn Gibson did some good things on the edge too. So I think just right now, like, the guys are playing confidently. In order to do it, you got to play violently on the edge. You got to play fast. You got to make fast decisions. You can't be, like, indecisive out there. You're further away from the ball, so, like, it's a little bit more timing involved in how you play. Like, when you're in the A and B gap, really, you're just playing like one guy or one or two guys. Only two guys that you're reading possibly on any given down. So, those guys did a great job.
Is there more freedom? And here was Derek Hall yesterday, Coach, asked by the media, coming off of a rookie season versus already the productivity we've seen through 3 games. Here was Derek asked about that and just kind of his growth and development. I got to follow up to it.
I think the big part of it is just knowing what I had to attack going into the offseason and really honing in on that, being able to develop my pass rush and take it to that next level. Having a year under my belt, knowing what to expect, knowing how things are going to flow, having guys that trust in me like Chinna Boye, and then obviously, like you said, the scheme that Coach Mike has put in place for us on the defensive side of the ball, I think has allowed the entire defense, but specifically the outside back, to be really, really effective game in and game out.
It just feels from a scheme standpoint that there's more freedom for those guys on the edge. And that's not to compare to any past or anything else. Yeah. And this is your Michigan years with Aiden and last year with Clowney and Van Noy. It just feels, does that position, is there some freedom of expression in that violence that you talk about?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I appreciate Derek saying that. But he deserves, I mean, to me, the difference is, like, for guys going from year to 1 to year 2, it's a huge opportunity for him because you don't have all the crap they have to do as a rookie coming out of college. I mean, think about these guys' years. It's crazy. Like, you finish playing, and if the guys go, like, deep, I don't know where Auburn finished, but, like, then you go train, you go through all the draft visit stuff, and you got to stay in shape for that. Then you start rookie camp, and then you go through the whole rookie development program, so 10, 12 weeks. Then you get like 2 weeks off. You know what I mean? Then so it's like, where are you, like,
you don't get an off season to rest.
You don't get an off season to, like, really train, and just, like, take a breath and go train and kind of have an understanding where you're a rookie. You don't know, like, what your game is. Like, it's tough for those guys. It's tough. So I think the biggest thing is year 1 to year 2. Hey, I'm a determined guy. I'm going to work my tail off. I'm going to go train like crazy. I'm going to go learn the scheme. I'm going to come every day like he did and put the work in our off-season program and work with our coaches and AD and CP and Hines. And that's where the rubber meets the road, in my opinion. So then you talk about, like, freedom. Well, like, when I quote Jocko Willink, like, discipline is freedom. It's like understanding what your job is and where you can take liberties and where you can't. That's, like, you can't have guys just freelancing, but within your job, like, you can go do your job at a high level and play with anticipation. I think that's when they start using the term, like, freedom.
Oh, I like that. Truck? Have you jumped up into that truck?
What's that?
Have you seen Derek's truck?
No.
Okay. It's large. It's very high off the ground.
Where does he park it?
I don't know. We just saw some videos, some pictures. Is it out here, Dave? Yeah, it's out here. You might have to go take a look at that thing. I think you might be able to walk
if you weren't
straight under it.
if you weren't fast, I'm going to guess you probably didn't have a tremendous vert. So I don't think you're jumping up in that. It's like
there's no way.
It's like 12 feet off the ground. It's like a monster truck.
Yeah, I have a SUV right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and admit it. I have to grab a hold of the thing, step onto the deal. I can't. I'm too short to do the one stepper.
Yeah, this is
kind of embarrassing.
I think that's what we're looking at.
Really, that's his car?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything about big truck. People get offended about.
Right. But that might be a conversation. That'd be a conversation for you to have with them at some point.
That's a good team meeting little slide right there.
What have you learned about DK in your time here?
Oh man, a lot. I mean, all our guys. Just trying to understand what makes him tick, but he's such a great worker. It just is the big thing that's just printed in my mind. This guy gets after it. How he practices. And then just the knack for the game changing play. I mean, it's really been in the last 2 weeks. It's just I don't know. Again, I didn't have that ability, so it's just man, that's really cool. That he's able to. It really is he is a threat at any point in the field, but he makes it come to life in how he practices, and the timing of that route is tough. Anytime you're on a double move, you got to be able to run those routes full speed, so the quarterback can understand the timing and where to put it. Because it's 9 balls, you're used to throwing 9 balls because it's the timing's consistent. You know what I mean, Brock?
Yep.
We start throwing hitch and goes, and that was a different route. But hitch and goes, kind of timing gets out of whack sometimes. So it's not just just run that route once. I mean, they've been doing things like that in camp, for a while.
Hey, last minute or so here with you, Coach. Can you give me a couple of the biggest principles to situational success? Miami yesterday, 1 of 15 on 3rd and 4th down combined. 0 for 2 in the red zone, 1 a sudden change, 1 inside the 3-yard line. Are there just a couple kind of football one-on-one principles that you have found over the years that really lead to that kind of situational ball success?
Man, that's a great question. It goes back to preparation, being able to anticipate. You can't just invent stuff in those things. It's just people are "Oh, that's a great call." Or "Well, yeah, that's a call that we've been running for 6 months." It's we're just happen to. It's through what we do through the lens of how we want to attack that offense. So you're it's these stacked reps of execution over and over and over again. So you can go kind of again, Navy SEAL thing, fall to level your training in these critical situations. Is really the thought. Mm-hmm. And then, when you dress it up, you're just from week to week, you're just trying to hide the main things that you're doing is really the thought. So it's not, you don't have to, in those critical moments, you can do stuff that the guys have executed and you have confidence doing it. And then the guys hear it. And I don't know if I'm a player and the coach is calling something that, this is the 50th time that we've repped this thing. He knows that what we have is good enough. You start pulling out of the grab bag of things that you haven't worked on. That means, hey, shoot, our normal fastball right here is probably going to get knocked out of the park, And so I think there's power in that. And then I think the mindset the guys have to have. Take a deep breath and go play, go communicate, go do the things that we've been doing. And to this point, the guys have done a great job.
Just go run ISO. Shorten that neck.
Not behind me.
I wonder if we're going to see more of that cover 10 that we saw at the end of the half. Will we see more cover 10?
You might.
What's the coaching point for the 1? in that. Like the one guy rushing on 5.
Yeah, he's got a tough duty.
Yeah, what's the coaching? What do you tell that guy in that spot?
Good luck, buddy.
Just like you right here, Salk, when you ask about injuries, good luck right here.
Yeah.
Leonard.
What's going on?
I said, how's Leonard Williams?
Yeah, where are we?
All right, Byron Murphy, they're fine. Monday Night Football in Detroit. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, of course. It's going to be a great environment. Never played in Detroit. I know we've been there last year, a couple times. So I know the guys are excited, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun environment, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be great.
Looking forward to it. We'll talk to you on Tuesday. I'm sure you'll get to fly in late. We'll see you early Tuesday morning. It's a joy. Dave will tell you. It's a really great situation. Yeah.
I'm going to look at the contract. This is a Monday morning show.
It's more of a day after the game.
We'll talk to you Monday morning from Detroit if you want.
Yeah, we do happen to do both, but it's a day after the game.
I'll trade you Monday morning in Detroit for Tuesday morning back here.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it. Congratulations. 3-0. It's been a great start. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, there you go. And we're going to get out of here as well. We'll turn things over to Bump and Stacy next. Brock, you know where the hay is.
Oh, it's in the barn bar.
It sure is. See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
When you make the playoffs consistently, you just hit another gear. Do you think at any point the Houston Astros, when they were 10 games back or when they were really struggling, having the worst season they'd had in 6 years, we're out of this?
Probably not.
Because winning a lot and winning consistently changes you.
It really does.
And so that's the next level for the Mariners to get to, frankly. In addition to adding this offseason, in addition to doing all of these things, make yourself intimidating. Make yourself the bully. Make yourself believe in yourself. This team just needs to sharpen that.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
I grew up in a very angry time.
A night of comedy at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center.
We were afraid of your dad.
Friday, October 4th. Hold on tight. It's Bill Burr.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.